Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Here we are, back again. Tyvus is in an upset
the gang
mood
is back
today.
I'm not in an upset mood.
He is ornery right now.
I like your sweatshirt.
I do too.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's nice, man.
How's the fit? How's the quality?
Well, I already got mad about the fit.
He said that's supposed to be what it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be extra large.
Tyvus, you know you're a linebacker now.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Wait, what size is that?
Don't do that.
What size is
This
that?
is extra large.
What did you order?
Extra large.
And what's wrong with it?
It feels like a large.
Stop getting so swole.
You
Now, you know,
got that
I tell
upper
you what, the wife was telling me yesterday, your arms is getting big.
I told you. When you stop doing legs,
Damn,
when you stop
Tyvus.
doing legs, period, and you just upper body.
First of all, I do legs. I do legs. I just did legs yesterday.
do?
I deadlift.
No kidding.
What?
My thighs.
Did you deadlift?
I could go right now.
Did you deadlift?
Yes.
Oh, you deadlift.
I deadlift. I squat.
Did you front squat?
No, I didn't front squat. I back squat. I'm not doing the front squat no more. I'm not doing that no more.
By the way, guys,
And I ain't going. I'm not going past 315 either.
by the
that's
way,
it.
guys, speaking of legs, all right? I was talking to my physical therapist this morning.
Yeah.
And I said, he goes to me, how about that? Nick Chubb only tore his MCL.
Yeah.
And he goes, I think one of you guys said this. He said, well, they once the swelling comes down, maybe they'll relook at it, but it's probably just an MCL. I said, is it even possible, even if it's a 1% chance?
Told you.
Yeah.
Do you think if it's just the MCL, is there any chance on earth he could play in the playoffs 4 months
Told
from
you.
now?
And
he said, I'd give, yeah. He
So-
said, yeah. Now, doesn't mean he's right.
Right, on the surface,
I don't wanna amp
has
it up.
someone come back in less than 4 months from an MCL? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a freak.
What
He's
did
the freak of
Adrian
freaks.
Peterson do? Did he do
Well, he
something
tore
like
his
that?
ACL but came back 8 months later.
That was 8 months.
But he had a
It
complete
wasn't
tear.
And it wasn't just that he came back in 8 months. Most guys who come back after a torn ACL are not good to the following year.
Oh, yeah, he was good right away.
He was great
Yeah.
immediately when he came back.
He changed the game because it was always a calendar year.
Right.
Always,
Always.
forever, always.
Yeah.
And in truth, it still is. But because he did it, and he's superhuman,
Well, so is Nick Chubb.
he is.
Yeah.
He's kind of his,
Yes.
football soul twin.
That's right.
I was told by a doctor he ruined it for everybody that ever comes after him.
That's right.
Because that's not humanly possible what he did. But he did it.
Yeah.
And now they got braces. So now, think about it. He tore it week 2? You got to think there's 17 weeks. The season's longer. If the Browns go,
It's 4 months.
It's basically
We would
4
need
months
him
for
in
the playoffs.
4 months for a playoff game.
Yeah. Now, he hasn't had the surgery
See what
yet.
you started
I'm
yesterday?
saying
You started it.
and you told me not to say that because we
I had to ask him.
Right.
I had to because I go every Tuesday morning for
Yeah.
physical therapy. I'm like, is it possible?
Could you imagine?
I
Could you
cried.
imagine?
Oh my God!
We've got a great show for you. Let's get into the rundown. Browns defense through 3 games, historical. Miami Dolphins offense through 3 games, historical. Which one is more impressive? It's fun. I know it's just 3 weeks, but we'll have fun with that topic.
Yeah.
Week 3 roundup in the NFL. There are 3 unbeatens after 3 weeks. We'll talk about all the action that we didn't get to yesterday.
You mean
plus
like
the Monday
Baker
night
going?
games. Baker's going like this. The Bengals going like
Yeah, up a little.
yeah.
You get listen.
I expected Baker to struggle. That Eagles defense.
He never plays well against the elite
My
defenses ever.
goodness,
It
that
was
defense.
the Eagles.
It was the Eagles.
He never plays
There's-
well against good teams.
there's
or
a learning
almost
curve.
ever.
Who does? I mean, well, I can't say who does.
Yeah, the top quarterbacks do. That's what they do.
PFF grades. We're doing it differently this week. We're going to try to match the grade to the player. And also, Mary Kay Cabot, and then Jerry Ferrara is going to be here. Explain that. Who booked him?
Well, I had heard he was at least living here some part of the year. I don't know if he's here how often
Right.
he's here.
Yeah.
But he lives here at least
His
some time of the
girlfriend's from
year.
here, right?
His girlfriend's from here. She's an actress as well. Right. And so I said to Mike and Steve, let's try to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Because I had heard him do something else.
He's a huge sports fan.
He's a huge sports fan. He did some sports talk on my old station in New York.
Did he really?
Yes, he also
Before his acting days, or
no. Like
okay.
once he became famous,
Yeah.
they would have him on, like not just as a guest, but he'd co-host a little bit here
Wow,
and there.
that's fantastic.
I actually texted Evan Roberts, who does Afternoon Drive in New York, who I used to work with, and he worked a little with Jerry. I was like, all right, give me some tidbits about Jerry.
Sure.
So anyway, but he's apparently a great guy, and we got to know, like, is he more known for the show Entourage or for the show Power?
We know.
Yeah,
we know the answer.
Split
That's
in
the
the
man.
studio.
We already
That's the
know.
big debate.
Question.
We know the
Wasn't
answer.
Entourage, I think, was a bigger show, right?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, I didn't know. Listen, I didn't
Entourage
watch
is
either
way
one of them.
bigger.
I
No,
know
it
what
ain't.
I'm asking.
No, it's not.
So Entourage below, well, let's ask Jerry. How about that?
Well,
I don't.
He'll know.
They weren't out at the same
you know
time.
what? Will
What's his character's name on Power?
Joe Proctor.
Okay, so if
And on Entourage, he was Turtle.
If he's yelled Turtle or Joe Proctor more, that will determine whether Entourage was bigger than
We'll
Power.
find out. He'll be sitting right there.
No, they're going to get your butt up and move down to the wing, and you're going to be nice to our guest. And you're
Come on
gonna get
now,
in the middle chair.
Tyvus.
I don't see.
Tyvus tried pulling a power play this morning.
he did.
We were explaining to him that Jerry's going to go there, and he's got to move, and he goes, I ain't moving. I said, oh, you're moving.
It's not fair that everybody else get to stay where they seated. They seated. I gotta move.
Jay told me, I'm going to pull your resume.
You are moving.
Why is my resume off Indeed.com?
I don't know why you're so salty about this.
I don't think Jerry would be upset if he was
No,
on the end.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
This man is looking for any slight possible. Anything that might say to him he is less inferior than the superior human he knows himself to be.
Tyvus, it's actually a compliment that you're moving. I said yesterday that if somebody should move, it should be Tyvus because he is the most athletic person on the show.
We were
Because
worried Bo was going to pull a hammy if he had
It's
to move.
easier for you to scoot over 2 seats
Y'all
than for
funny.
both of us to move over 1 when you're in much better shape
You know
than
what? You know what I
am.
think
It's
we
a
should
compliment.
do? I think
You gonna say
as a-
rock, paper,
This
scissors?
is no. I think this is what we should do. We should let Jerry decide.
Don't put Jerry in there.
Jerry.
You're moving. End of story. You're moving.
That's
And
it.
you know, really, I'll tell you why you're moving. Steve is our de facto leader.
Yeah.
Who cares?
He's
what-
director.
Who cares
And
what
yesterday, when
Steve says?
first of all, yesterday, we were having this discussion about this, kind of inane.
Yeah.
And I'm showing G. Bush something on Instagram, and Mikey's like the teacher. Guys, we're trying to have a discussion here. Guys,
This is a
put
big
the
time.
phones
It's a
away.
big time get. We got to make sure it runs
We're
smooth.
talking about a chair assignment, and he's like playing principal for a day.
He had a
Put the
run-
phones away. We're having a serious discussion.
He had a rundown and everything.
In fairness to Mike, some of us are often on our phones when Mike is trying to talk to us.
That's true.
I'm going to defend Mike
Yeah.
here.
Now, but what I said in that
Yeah.
meeting was, I said, look, we can discuss this for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
which we did. I said, Steve's the director. Steve works best.
And that's what
he
he said.
Unquestionably, Tyvus
That's what I'm
moving
on.
stairs.
Why would y'all leave it? Why would
It was
you
a wrap.
leave it in Steve's court?
It
You
was
know,
Dunsky.
I'll tell you right now. Like, what a kid. If I gotta move, I'm going behind the glass now.
Okay.
Done. That's easy. We don't gotta move no chair.
was waiting for the whole. Everybody was like,
Tyvus done. You come
Jerry
back.
will sit in your
Tyvus,
chair,
we will
and
switch
can
you
go
out for
turtle
Earl
behind the
so
glass.
fast.
By the way, we haven't even mentioned that Tyvus texted us all out of the blue and said, sorry, I can't make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, oh, I'm going to be there
False
tomorrow.
alarm.
he's
I'm
like,
in.
I'm like, I'm lying. It's like I lied. I've been here.
Listen, life happens, man. Listen,
Can I? I'm going to go in the weeds here.
Yeah.
Here's what he said. I was going to have to miss because my other job has a very important meeting. Then I was called and told, oh, we don't need you to be there.
Oh, man.
This is for essential personnel only. Tyvus, you can do your sports show.
Yo, that's crazy, dog. Like, yeah, just stay home.
they leave me out the big boy conversations like
stay
that.
That's right. We'll
Hey.
fill you in later. By the way, I want to take just a quick second to thank all of our viewers. We did this yesterday. We said if you're watching the show right now, hit the like button. Easy to do. Right. We went over 1,000 likes yesterday. I believe, Bull, you texted early this morning. Our show yesterday is over 25,000 views. Is
That's
that correct?
correct. That is correct.
There is a correlation.
We just keep, there is a correlation. That like, what it does is it through that like algorithm, when people are searching Browns content, it pushes us up to the top of that chain, so more people click on us, are exposed to us, and you know what they say, don't try it if you're not ready for it to become a habit.
Don't be opening no doors for your wife. Don't you do it. She gonna want to.
It's a habit.
She gonna say you fell off. You be like, did you look around? Who's opening doors anymore?
Yeah, well, we've become a habit for a lot of folks. So I wanted to take just a second off the top. Thank you. Thank the viewers. You guys you're just incredible. And I know you appreciate our work, but we wanted to let you know that we appreciate your patronage and your loyalty. Mikey McNuggets behind the glass. Hi, buddy.
I'm doing good today, Tyvis. We got an extra seat back here if you want to come.
I'm
that
taking
eliminates moving any chairs whatsoever. So seriously, make our job easier. Get off the set. We could have the people who know ask more questions can ask more questions. Before we got into our topics today, though, I do want to remind you guys that tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7 p.m., Behind the Glass, myself, Anthony, and Earl, everything you need to know. We're going to tell some behind-the-scenes stories from UCSS, some things you may not see on the show that you can only get from the people who put this all together. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night, 7 o'clock for Behind the Glass.
Are you guys going to take into account what I said the other day and do more behind-the-scenes things in this podcast?
We're going to do as many viewer questions as possible if they're related to that, but I have a behind-the-scenes story that I'm going to tell regardless. And Earl, you want to chime in?
Yeah, can you retweet our tweet this week, Bull? You don't never retweet our.
That is false.
Bull does retweet
Dang,
us.
bro. That is a false accusation.
What is going on today?
Now I am going back to look because I know I have done it.
Bull does.
Get on him,
Yeah, that
Earl.
was unfair, Earl.
Well,
I think I've done it every
stand
week.
corrected, but right now I'm on you.
Get on him,
Right
Earl.
now I'm on you.
So
Shots fired.
See how they do? You
so
see how they do? Bull too big time,
So
man.
y'all retweet that. Don't nobody retweet my stuff.
That's because you be trying to go live when we go live.
My bad.
Are we competing with one? Are we cannibalizing the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show?
G,
Kinda.
there may have been one crossover where G and the barbershop was trying to go at the same time behind the glass.
No, it was
but
another.
hey, G has precedent. G's the biggest name, so we moved ours back.
By the way,
Wait a
the
minute,
show
that's
last
not
week,
true.
I liked it right here. Here's me liking it, and you can see it there.
That's not
They're
true.
wanting retweets, not likes.
Oh, I can't. Oh, you need me to read?
Wow.
Retweet is full on
Turn my head
the
over.
deed. A retweet is a full-on deed.
Yeah.
A like is a kiss.
What's the difference?
You liked it?
So
want a
the big
commitment
difference is if you retweet it,
yeah.
all of your followers
See
see
it.
it. If you like it, they don't.
I didn't
Guys, we
I
got
didn't
a
realize
big show to get into.
that was an unfair accusation.
We're busy.
though.
So let's
I love our first topic.
let's hop into it.
It's a hypothetical, which we love. It's only 3 weeks. Get that out of the way.
Okay.
But we gave some numbers yesterday that prove that this Browns defense is historically great through 3 games. So as you measure all of the other great defensive performances through the first 3 games, the Browns defense in 2023 is right there with the Bears and the Buccaneers.
Although nobody mentions it because it doesn't matter if you don't follow up.
Correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's very short sample size. And then when you look at what the Dolphins are doing, I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, Shannon Sharp on First Take, when he was hot because he's obviously got Denver Broncos pride. He said they dropped a 50 on our dome and then got a 20 flats for free. And I thought that was one of the funniest ways of saying you gave up 70 points I've ever heard.
Because them 20 flats cost you $3.
But they got them for free.
Right.
Meaning they quit.
By the way, did you hear that there are supposedly people around the league saying it was not classy or whatever I can't remember the exact word.
Yeah, I did. No,
which
they
is
just
ridiculous.
thought-
This is pro football. Stop them.
Yeah,
Here we
you're
go.
right. I mean, look, I think when people saw the score, their immediate reaction was, oh, he's running it up. If you looked at the game and the way it unfolded, he wasn't.
They put backups in. One of those guys not supposed to play.
And it was clear that the Denver Broncos defense quits. And here's my deal. When the other team quits,
F them.
you don't have to quit.
No.
Because quitting becomes a problem. It becomes a habit.
And if you have the back guys on the bench playing and they have an opportunity to do something,
They're going to
what are they
score.
supposed to do?
And I don't blame them at all.
No,
for any of it.
absolutely
now,
not.
I will point out that McDaniel had a chance to break the all-time record for the most points scored in a
Tied.
game. They were in field goal range. Go ahead.
73 is the record. It would have tied, just for the record.
Tied the record. I'm
Tied the
sorry.
record, yeah.
They would have had the record. The field goal kicker, they kept showing the kicker on the sideline.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm loose. He kicked 10 extra points.
Right.
They didn't kick the field goal.
And that was across the 50 too, wasn't it?
He would have made it.
Yeah.
I would have did it.
And I think
I would have done it too.
I would have did it.
But he didn't do it.
Yeah,
so for all of those people,
they're idiots.
No.
He could have driven the nail through the heart.
You should have. You should have.
Okay, so criticize him for that.
It's professional.
It's not. You get better.
Okay,
Get better. At the end of the day,
all
get
that being
better.
said, guys.
Yeah.
Browns defense versus the Dolphins offense. Which one through 3 games is more impressive?
Browns defense.
You're wrong, and I'll tell you why when these guys go.
What is wrong with you today?
I'm just going to speak facts. I'm going to give you a fact.
What is more impressive?
That's 70.
Going from where the Browns were last year to where they're at this year.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
70
the Browns
pieces.
defense.
Okay.
That 70 piece is tough.
That's really tough.
Hey, go ahead, Bull.
So you're kind of on the fence.
Yeah,
on
I'm
this
on.
one. All right.
To me, it's not that close. It's the Browns defense without a doubt.
Thank you.
Because
Interesting.
What the way I look at it is, the Dolphins. Listen, Dolphins offense has been amazing.
Thank you.
But it's only been otherworldly in one game.
Right. You're right.
The Browns defense has been otherworldly in all 3 games.
One of them was a loss.
Keep going, boy.
Otherworldly is you pitch a shutout.
But it had 0 to do with the defense. That loss was 0 on the defense.
Well, the defense did give up points, Bull. Let's not forget that.
Well, you're supposed to giving up some points.
What
How
I'm
many
saying
points
is-
did they give up?
What I'm saying is,
12.
if you're otherworldly,
Well,
you're 3-0.
okay, but in the Patriots game, it wasn't like the Dolphins scored. The Dolphins scored 27 points. That's
Okay,
not
let me
a
put it
crazy
to you like
amount of
this right
points.
now.
Yeah,
man. If they played tomorrow
yeah.
and you had to bet your house on the game, which way you going?
Browns.
Okay. It's just, look, because the other thing that comes into factor here is the Browns offense and the Dolphins defense.
Exactly.
Right,
So
so
it's not really a
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because I asked myself before I answered this question, if they were playing tomorrow, who am I picking?
Yeah,
I'm
but
picking
I don't
Burrow.
think that's a fair way to base the argument because,
because the
we're
other
there's
units
other
are involved.
factors. And special
Big
teams.
Nuggets,
Right.
what was the score last year in that game? The Browns versus Dolphins.
Dolphins killed them.
Well,
they
that's
did.
not
Miami
fair.
won.
I mean, that's not fair because the
No, I
Browns
know that,
defense
but I
last
just
year
want to
was
know
pathetic.
I just want to know what the score was.
Dolphins could have picked their number if I remember that game right.
Give me 1 second.
I don't
It was a blowout.
But the point is, to me, we were already before this game against the Titans. We were already talking about, man, the Browns defense has been lights out the first 2 games.
We were saying they've been elite.
The
so-
Dolphins' offense through the first 2 games had been obviously very good,
the Dolphins'
but this
offense-
game just blows it out of proportion.
The Dolphins offense did the same thing last year.
They did.
They were on Tyreek Hill was
First 3
on
weeks, they were
pace
huge.
for breaking
I
Calvin
know, but
Johnson's
Tyvus,
record.
in a vacuum, you're
The
right.
only reason it
question,
went
though,
down
the
is 'cause
question
Tua
wasn't
got
which
hurt.
unit has improved more year over year. That's easy.
That's why it's more
And
impressive.
I understand why you might weight this differently because where the Browns had come from.
Yeah.
But in a vacuum,
Yes.
this question is in a vacuum.
I'm not even factoring that in.
I don't think we should.
I'm not factoring that in.
Right.
I'm just saying we had a stat before that, like, based on one of these many analytics, that the Browns defense in these 3 games have been the 3 best defensive performances in the league this year.
Yes.
Based on the Dolphins aren't 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
They aren't. I think I read that maybe the Chiefs' offense was even more prolific.
To me, they set a record for the most yards in the history of the National Football League.
But that's 1 game.
I know it's 1 game. We only
Yeah.
have 3, though. And the other thing, too, is, and this is why I almost went Browns. This wasn't a slam dunk for me. I almost went Browns, and the reason I did is because I'm of the mindset that a great defense will trump a great offense, just like great pitching in baseball can shut down great hitting. I just happen to like defense more than I like offense. All of that being said, what they've done this year, and through 3 games, albeit, but in the 3rd game where their offense is now really up and running and clicking, they did it without their 2nd best offensive weapon. That's got to be factored into this discussion, too.
Well, the Browns were without one of their best defensive players, Greg Newsome.
Top 5 defensive players.
All right. To me, I don't factor that in at all because it's what have you done on the field, not what did you do
they
without
did that
it.
on the field without Jalen Waddle.
Well, then
it's got to be factored in.
I could argue the Bengals have a top 10 offense because Joe Burrow's hurt. And if he wasn't hurt, then blah, blah, blah. There's always an excuse I can make. The bottom line is I think you're weighing the 1 game the Dolphins played at a ridiculous
We
rate.
only have 3.
I know that, but you shouldn't overweigh it. The other 2 games, they were good offensively, but not not like all-time special.
The Steelers, the Browns defense has been, and I don't want anybody to get the idea that I'm trampling on the Browns defense. They're unbelievable. I think that they have a chance to be historical this year because we ran through the schedule yesterday on the show. I looked at it again later last night.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for who's the offense that's just going to come out and destroy this defense. I don't see it. So it sets up for the Browns to be in the discussion with the 85 Bears and the early 2000s Tampa Bay Buccaneers and even the Baltimore Ravens.
We got to wait a little on that. It's been 3 games.
I didn't say they're going to be. What I said was I think they have a chance based on the teams that they play to be in that discussion.
Yeah.
So I'm not discounting what the Browns defense has done.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is what the Dolphins offense did Sunday. And yes, I am definitely weighing that very heavily.
Could it be that one game is what they call an outlier?
70 points though? 50 points I'll give you.
Who was it against? And who been sitting here telling you for years?
Listen, I've been telling you
for 2 years.
I know who it was against, but I'm not going to discount the Browns' defensive effort because it was against Ryan Tannehill. I'm not going to discount that. These guys all get paid. If they quit, that's on them.
I agree with that. I'm just saying the Browns' defense was better than the Dolphins' offense in Week 1, in my opinion.
The
Browns.
What did the Dolphins score in Weeks 1 and 2?
They scored 33 or something in Week 1.
Miami had 36 in Week 1
against a terrible Chargers defense,
and 24 against the Patriots. In
that's nothing special. That's
Bill
nothing.
Belichick's defense. That's kind of impressive.
And it was on the road. But I give you this though. And here's the reason.
You haven't spoken. You haven't weighed in yet.
Yeah, I jumped in on that.
Get with the program here.
Here's the reason why I'm gonna mind you, the Miami Dolphins they didn't have Jalen Waddle. And that was crazy.
That's a non-factor.
He's on my fantasy team too.
It's calling.
He smells it.
It's calling.
But you already know what it is, man. Come on.
Hold that. Go ahead. Hold that.
Hey, I just did Hey, man, check out my blog, man. I just did a comparison of the Cleveland Browns and the 85 Bears. Check that out on UCSS page. Just a shameless plug. It's a nice thumbnail, too. I got to go ahead and say it's definitely the Browns. And the reason why it's definitely the Browns is because, A, where they came from last year, B, look at the rules are all predicated towards offense. The rules say you can't touch nobody, you can't sack anybody, you can't land on them, you can't hit them high, you can't hit them low. Just like the Sauce Gardner commercial for BW3s. The Buffalo asked, what if you hit them high? Penalty. What if you hit them low? Penalty. Guess what? The Cleveland Browns have been getting people on the ground. And they've been doing it with no penalties. And the rules are set up for them to shine. The Browns right now, I felt bad for Derrick Henry. It's just not about what they're doing to passers. And we look what Joe Burrow was stifled. We got that. But look what you did to one of the best backs that's been playing for the last 10 years, Derrick Henry. They was hitting him before he could even get going. And this is the crazy part about it. You look at that schedule. Sometimes the schedule does that. I said they had 6 games. Little did I know they had 6 games to prove is they one of the best defenses of all time. They got an opportunity. You
can't prove that in 6 games.
You can't prove it in 6 games.
Yeah.
But
you can't prove that in a regular season either.
And here's what you can do. It sets everybody up for a nice little 7-day bye week. Because if they come out here and Lamar Jackson is running around, that means they can shut pocket passers down, great running backs, and now a guy that can scramble and steal his plays. It looks like they don't have any kryptonite. We're going to see on this, but I got to say the Browns so far.
I would say in the end, if you're ranking the 6 performances, the 3 offensive performances by the Dolphins and the 3 defensive performances by the Browns, I would probably put the Dolphins offense in this past week number 1.
Yep.
However,
it's an all-time record.
I'd put the Browns defense 2, 3, and 4. So if you, yeah, I mean,
they scored 36 in Week 1.
To me,
how many did they give up to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Team scored.
The Browns defense gave up 12. Correct.
They gave up 12 points.
That's not a lot.
Crazy.
I mean,
but which one is more impressive?
That would lead the league.
Scoring 36 or allowing 12?
12. In today's offense?
Yes,
12.
much more.
With Steelers offense?
Don't do that.
You know what it is.
Don't do that.
You know what it is.
What they score yesterday or Sunday?
Jay, you just said to him you can't complain about the Broncos defense.
Look, you guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to accept your thank yous and apologies right now. Here's why.
Because you couldn't be more wrong.
No.
Let's just admit that.
When I saw this question this morning, I always do this. Every day I do this for the sake of the show. Little trick I learned many years ago.
Yeah.
Where's G. Bush going with this? Well, that took me an eighth of a second.
Yeah.
4 seconds.
Where's Tyvis going with this? That took me a half second.
Oh, really?
Yes, 1,000%. Within a half second. Now,
Don't do that.
this is a credit to Bull. I said, I got to think about Bull. Because Bull's going to come at this thing. He's going to look at it objectively.
Yeah.
In the end,
Why?
I came down with this. Bull's going Browns defense, too. So if I go Browns defense, what the hell kind of discussion was that?
That's true. By the way,
That's true, but
So you're welcome, and I accept your apology.
by the
Tyler.
way, the first thing, when Mike first asked the question, my first reaction was, oh, I'm probably going to lean toward the Dolphins. And then I sat and thought about it.
And as I was,
And yes.
and Bull, honestly, when I was thinking, okay, I know where he is, I know where he
why
is.
did you know where I was?
Because I know where you are on these things. You're pretty consistent.
Not true at all.
It is true.
You don't like consistency, bro?
I do. I love consistency.
You're consistent. And look, and I love you for that.
I'm a fence right.
You're anything
No,
but
but
a
I
fence
don't
right.
think. I don't think it's
But I did. When I was thinking about how Bull was going to, I saw
that was bad.
Bull's going to come out shooting, saying, "Guys, it was 70 points." So I was like, he could go that way.
Yeah.
But he could also say this Browns defense has had the 1, 2, and 3 best performances in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Those were the two things that I thought you would struggle with in your mind. But in the end, I did say Bull's going to side with the Browns defense.
It certainly was worthy of a conversation.
It
I mean,
was.
there's no doubt. The
It
Dolphins'
was.
offense has been remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
I don't know
But
why y'all didn't ask the most popular person on the show what he thought. McNuggets.
Mike
Nuggets, what do you
Nuggets.
think?
I think Bull actually stole my point. I think the single most impressive performance of any unit in any game this season
Oh, that's no.
was the Dolphins.
Yeah,
putting
that one's
70 up.
easy.
But I would go 2-3-4 with the Browns.
Yeah.
And based on that aggregate, I would slightly give the edge to the Browns.
See, I just when I
He's a man of the people.
I wanted to rewatch the Steelers game. I haven't yet. The one thing that I was concerned about, and this is again a knock on the Browns defense, to be a truly great defense, Tyvis, you have to do what?
Tackle.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things you have to do.
You gotta tackle,
but all the
contain.
boxes, one of them is you have to force turnovers.
That's the one.
And
that's
that
the only
is
check
the
mark they
big
haven't.
check mark against
Did
this
they
defense.
get any against the Titans?
See,
I don't. How many turnovers do we have? I think one all year,
Two.
right?
Two.
But
That's not enough.
Who did we
but-
get 2 turnovers?
We had
on?
picks.
Grant Delpit got a pick against the Steelers.
Yes, he did.
And did the Bengals turn it over once? Did somebody fumble?
I don't think the Bengals turned it over.
No,
I
it
think the
was
Browns
two
lost the turnover battle in that one 3-0.
It was 2 against the Steelers. They had something else. Ward forced a
By the
fumble.
way,
fumble.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
But
by
that's
the
not
way-
enough. And by the way, those things are, you always say this, those can be lucky. And they're hard to carry
There is
over
definitely
week to
some
week.
luck on
Defense
that.
did enough
However,
to win that game.
there are
I'll tell you that.
opportunistic defenses that force their own luck, rip the ball out,
Yeah, that's
jump
what happened to
routes.
Elijah Moore.
And we haven't done that yet,
He
and
took that
I need
ball
to
for
see
real.
that part
There
of
is
it.
definitely some level of luck in turnovers,
Yeah.
without a doubt. But you're right. The all-time great defenses, which the Browns hope to be,
Take it away.
all had a ton of turnovers. All of them.
Here's the thing. Sometimes on defense you can be so good, ain't even no. There's no opportunity.
Yeah,
for
but
turnovers.
G. Bush, they've dropped interceptions this year.
well, no. Here now
And they were standing
ran over
around on that
fumbles.
fumble.
Standing
because
around
guys
on the
didn't know-
fumble,
They
ball
ran-
on that
yeah.
loose ball.
They ran all over the fumble. Like I was like, y'all
Yeah.
can get that.
And was it who the heck dropped the fumble? It was right in a pick. It was right in his hands. I thought it was going to be a pick six.
Who did he
Can't
drop?
remember.
Early in the game
I
on
can't remember.
Sunday.
Somebody dropped a pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could have been a pick six, in
I
fact.
don't remember who it was. By
Can
the
I
way,
ask you guys a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So instead of, let's take this back a step outside of the 3 games. I'm going to give you 2 stats, and I want you to tell me which stat, one's for the Dolphins, one for the Browns, is a more impressive individual stat.
Okay.
We mentioned this on the show yesterday, Steve. Take tagboard full. The Browns have allowed negative 36 rush yards before contact this season. The league average is 94.2.
That's ridiculous.
So is negative
Insane.
36 rushing yards before contact a more impressive individual stat? Steve, you can take the VO full here. Look at the 4th line. The Dolphins have 7 more touchdowns than any other team in the league through 3 games.
Jiminy Christmas.
They have 7 more touchdowns than 3 teams. So what's more impressive,
Yeah,
17 touchdowns in 3 games?
They're both incredible.
Or
Well,
I
would-
just think it's so skewed by that one game, and yeah, it's all and that's not. It's just never going to happen again. It's just, if they have like 2-3 more games where they score 50 plus, maybe I'll think differently. I just feel like that the Browns have just been consistently great on defense in all 3
Can
games.
we go back to that stat on the Browns? Because I meant to ask this yesterday. There's something that's odd to me about that.
Before contact.
The league average is allowing 94 yards per game?
No. That's through 3 in totality. 30.
Oh, I
so that's
see
like
what you're saying.
31 and a half yards per game.
Okay.
What?
So that's not per game. That's the total.
Cumulative, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the average is then the Browns are averaging minus 12 rushing yards per game before contact.
Correct.
I think
And
that
the league
to me,
average
I get
is
my
minus
mind around.
31 per game.
Exactly.
Plus
No,
31.
Plus 31.
So it's that's still a 43-yard per game difference,
Which is
from the average.
It's amazing.
Absurd.
I mean, it
Which
really
is
is
crazy.
amazing. And what's even more incredible, to your point, Tyvis, the Achilles of this defense last year was in the middle, on the run. Go back and think about what Atlanta did to us.
Please don't make me.
We're going to run the ball this play, guys.
Don't make
and it was
me.
12 yards.
The Brown-
12 yards.
Yeah.
But think about where they were and where they are now and the transformation in that short period of time. That's how you fix
No
a
way.
defense.
Well, that's why to me it was impressive to me.
Yeah.
Because from where they were to where they are
Right.
now, it's literally.
We all thought they'd be a lot better defensively. And again, we have to say it's 3 games.
Yeah.
However, nobody could have imagined they were going to play this well. Nobody. No way you could have thought it would be this
was
good.
unforeseeable. I'm curious. Baltimore and San Francisco are 2 pretty good offenses.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how they hold up against these 2 offenses. Because so far, I mean, even Cincinnati looked better last night. Cincinnati in week 1 was not the Cincinnati offense we're going to get next time around. We know that. Pittsburgh offense isn't going to set buildings on fire. We know that. Tennessee's offense, likely not to set buildings on fire. So let's get a couple of games against top-notch offenses in the barn, and after week 5, we'll come back and we'll revisit the Dolphins offense or the Browns defense.
I look at these next 2 games in just like the context of Lamar's owned the Browns. We talk about the Browns owning the Bengals. Lamar's owned the Browns. Lamar's played against the Browns 5 times. He got hurt early in one, and the Browns won that game, but he got hurt.
Right.
In the 4 games that Lamar has played the whole game, they're 4-0 against the Browns.
Yeah.
Against Stefanski, but against Stefanski.
Against Stefanski, sorry, yes. He's tortured them. So and it's the Ravens, like the Steelers, teams that always seem to beat the Browns, even when the Browns might be better.
But Jim Schwartz wasn't in town then.
He wasn't. And
So-
that's why it's a big difference.
It's going to be a fun, because look, they did not destroy that Indianapolis Colts defense by any stretch of the imagination.
surely.
At the end of the game, they had 4 different possessions where if they get 1 first down, they're in field goal range to win the game.
And they couldn't get
both at the
I
end of
don't think-
regulation and in
That
overtime.
was
They
a
couldn't
PI.
do it.
I don't listen. I don't think their offense is that good, Baltimore. But like we talk about with the Bengals and the Browns, there's something to the Lamar and the
Let me
Browns
ask you
too,
this:
maybe.
do you think this will be the best offense we've seen so far?
Yes.
I think they have the most weapons.
Well, the Bengals offense is the best. It just wasn't at its
it
best.
should have been, but obviously it wasn't hitting
Yeah.
on
I
all
don't know
cylinders.
because Odell's out. Zay Flowers is pretty.
Is
good.
Odell still out?
He's TBD.
does
for
Odell
this
have
week.
much value at this point?
Word.
He's still.
If I had
he
to
still can
pick,
make
though, I'd
plays.
much rather see him in street clothes Sunday
Sure,
than in a
of course.
uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna play with some edge because it's the Browns.
That's true.
But Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews,
Flowers
this
is a
gonna be-
baller.
This is a
Flowers
big.
can play,
Yeah,
man.
but 2 of their top 3 running backs are already out.
They
already,
are.
true.
you know.
They are. So let's wait until San Francisco then.
Yeah, but San Francisco,
That's different.
I mean, they might be the best team in football.
I think they're, watching the Eagles last night, I don't know, man. There are some really good teams this year.
Okay, but I'm saying San Francisco's in the conversation.
They are
for
1,000%
best team
in that
football.
conversation.
Well, the good
Paul.
news about the 2 y'all talking about, they're in the NFC. So
Yeah,
Right.
Thank
Browns-
God.
What's
Browns
the
can still-
weakness on
We'll see
San
in February.
Give me a weakness on San Francisco.
I still think, and don't jump on me on this, but if I had to pick one, I just, there's something about Brock Purdy, even though I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
There's just something about him that I'm not completely all chips in the middle of the table on him yet.
he makes some throws that's
I'm
like,
in on Brock
what
Purdy.
are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And my thing is, I think he's a good player, and all they don't need him to be great. They need him to not make mistakes. Don't turn the ball over. You got an all-time great defense. You've got nice pieces on offense.
He got some-
With
but he got some
McCaffrey
stuff,
and
too.
Kittle.
Yeah.
He should be great.
Well, and Debo. And Brandon Ayuk.
God, they've got pieces.
I mean, they're loaded. But anyway, so this is too exciting. I love this.
I do too.
I say this all the time. When you're a good team, you don't give a crap who you're playing. You want to play good teams.
What was your-
I don't
what
want
was
to
your-
watch them against
your
scrubs.
T-shirt saying, Winners want the smoke.
That's right.
If they go,
That's
into
right.
That
I can't
like
wait
that.
for these two
I
games.
can't
It's
either. I'm
exciting.
if they go with San Fran 3-1,
Oh my God!
Off a
two
bye
weeks
week,
to hype
too.
that game.
Yeah.
And they're both at home, which is huge.
they might get flexed to a night game.
That game should be a night game.
Somebody sent. Did you see this yesterday? Somebody sent. I thought it was to the UCSS group. I saw it somewhere. Maybe it was an email to my Channel 3 account. Somebody sent. This is an obvious miss too by the NFL. The fact that they don't allow flex the entire season.
Yeah, they should.
It's a big miss.
That's a miss by the NFL.
However,
do you know what our Monday Night Football game is coming up?
Well, it's Chiefs-Jets, right?
Who the hell wants to see that?
Oh, yeah,
That's
going
a
to be like a 30-point game.
The Jets have like 5 more primetime games.
They're out of here.
Wilson.
So because
That's
of
an issue.
injuries and the season always unfolds differently than we think,
Yeah.
I think they should go to flex.
By the way,
year-round.
I agree. 2 things, though, real quick. Number 1, I was reading that the Jets are interested in trading for Kirk Cousins. Vikings are 0-3. Jets would be very smart to do that.
Wow, that'd be a really good move for them.
That would,
And Jerry Judy
Keep it
might
quick,
be back
Bo.
on the
trade front?
He might be on the trade market.
one other thing from a
Judy.
Browns perspective.
I don't blame them.
I know that we would all love the idea of the Browns-Niners being a night game. However, playing a 1 o'clock game against a West Coast team, I think, is a big advantage
It
for the
is,
Browns.
yeah. Especially if they
I
don't
don't-
fly in until Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice.
That's
for
a good
them,
point.
but not for on the post game show.
We got a PCC read real quick before we move on to our
all about
PFF
you, bro.
grades. And whenever we read you guys, PCC results and poll results is brought to us by our dear friends at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job, career advancement, and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, for benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus, you can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We asked the YouTube community tab, what has been a more impressive start to the season, the Browns or the defense or the Miami offense? The same topic.
80-20.
They'll get it right.
80-20.
Over 1,500 votes, 70-30 split for the Browns.
Wow, I'm
I'm
Mirroring
surprised
what
it was
we
that
have
close.
here.
Yeah.
I would have thought 90-10.
I would have thought at least
30%
80,
of
yeah.
Browns
I
fans
thought it would be
actually
20.
said the Dolphins
Wow.
offense.
Nice.
That is true. We got a PFF grades we have to get into before Mary Kay joins us in a second.
Yeah.
So we're going to hop in. We're doing this a little differently than we've done the last couple weeks. I'm going to give you 6 grades from the offense, and then we'll do the defense. And you guys will go one at a time from the highest grade to the lowest grade. Match who you think earned said grade from the PFF grader. So, Steve, if you're ready, you can take 191, and you guys are going to try to guess who on the Browns offense scored a 71.5. Steve, you take it full whenever you're ready.
Did
Nope,
you
not
pick-
that one. You dropped that one, Steve.
Mike,
nope,
did
not
you-
that one, Steve. You dropped it.
Oh,
Already messing up. Steve's back for 2 days from his cruise.
Oh,
Still in
come on,
vacation mode.
Steve.
It's the one in the SOT folder.
Fumble.
Well, that one's ruined already, if you guys saw it.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see
I didn't
anything.
see
was
it
up-
either.
whatever he
Okay,
put up
beautiful.
there, I just saw Deshaun Watson
Yeah,
and
we
Amari
didn't take it
Cooper's
in.
name.
Let me
Okay,
ask you
so
this,
who-
Mike.
Yes.
Did you just pick 5 random grades? These are not the 5 highest grades, are they?
These are not the 5 highest. These are, well, 75.1 was the highest offensive grade.
Really?
Yes.
I'm going.
That's Deshaun Watson.
I'm going Joel Batonio at 75.1 because why not?
You see, I
Watson's got to be 1 or 2.
would have
So
left
right now we're
Bryant.
just focused on the top. Who got the 75?
I would have left Bryant and Hunt off the list. They didn't play enough that makes their grade
Who had
valuable enough.
number
They
one?
had everyone
Joe
played
Joe
at least 15
Batonio.
snaps, just for the record.
I would
Everyone
have
on this
left. I
played
would have
at
left.
least
I would
15
only
snaps.
play guys.
Okay, so
guys
let's
that
do
play
it.
a lot.
Let's
Okay.
play Mikey's game. Who
I'm-
was 75.1?
I agree. I agree with
Batonio?
Tyvis. I'm going to go Batonio.
Yeah, I think Deshaun's going to be the
Gee, what do you got?
74.6.
I'm going with Amari Cooper.
All right.
That's a
So
good
the votes are in, and the highest grade, according to PFF, on the Browns' offense from their win over the Titans was, Steve, take it, Harrison Bryant. Graded at the highest. The only reason he was included was because he was graded the highest offensive player
Yeah, I
on the
would left
Browns this week.
I mean, you counting his sneaks?
I
his
mean, he barely
quarterback
played.
Man, y'all better miss me
I
with
think you
that.
got to leave the guys off in the future, Mike, that barely play.
Well, he was
my
the highest graded, and Kareem Hunt was back for the first time, so that's how
Yeah.
they included. All right,
All
number
right.
2.
Again, it just proves
74.6.
PFF. What?
74.6. Who scored a 74.6?
Well, do we want to go with Batonio there?
Look, I'm like,
I'm going to flip it and say Watson.
Guys, Watson's QBR was through the roof. He had 6
120.
misses, and they were mostly
did.
throwaways.
I'm going Watson.
Yeah,
I'll go
let's go
Watson.
Watson, 74.6.
yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Watson, 74.6. Are the panelists right, Steve? Survey says. bada bing, bada boom. Yes,
Got
you are.
it.
Deshaun Watson,
There you go.
his
Now I
highest
think
graded
it's
game.
easy.
I mean, that's
as
a
a
grade.
Brown.
Batonio and Amari
Batonio
Cooper.
and Cooper.
Yeah.
And I did talk to somebody from Pro Football Focus, and they said they marked him off extremely for throwing the ball backwards because they think they said
That one play
They
knocked
say
the
because
ball.
that could have been a potential turnover.
Well, he deserved it for that
Yeah,
play.
so otherwise he would have
If
been
it
in the
wasn't
80s.
for that, he would have been in the 80s. You're right.
Yeah.
Two
Okay.
players, both got a 72.3.
Cooper and Batonio?
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's what I'm
I
doing.
agree, yeah.
You guys both going with Cooper and Batonio. Is everyone in agreement?
Yeah.
So, Steve, let's go to 195 here. You're on the first
I
one.
can't imagine either of those guys grading in the 60s.
Take it. Cooper was correct. Now, was the next one? Steve, you go right to the next one.
Is it DeJuan Jones?
Cut
Did he
live.
play
Yep,
like
you
that?
guys, but with Batonio, it was DeJuan Jones, who was the highest rated offensive lineman on the Browns this week.
By the way, a little nugget on DeJuan Jones. He and I exchanged DMs yesterday.
How'd it go?
Don't say it
Did he
like
come
that.
at you, bro?
Did you slide in his DM?
No,
chill out.
No. Well, what happened was.
Chill out.
No, I didn't slide in his
Y'all,
DM.
this
I
show
know
is
what that
getting
means, G.
ridiculous.
Yes. Did you guys see the new Geico commercial?
Y'all got that
that's
then, right?
is
You
so
got that
funny.
right here.
Y'all-
Hey, that sounds fun. Let's slide into someone's DM.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that.
That whole campaign is the best
It's brilliant.
ever.
It's the best
It's a
commercial.
brilliant
It is.
campaign.
Y'all-
But no, I noticed that DeJuan Jones was following me on Twitter because I had been following. I always follow Browns players.
Go Bucks.
Whenever a player comes to Cleveland, I immediately follow them on Twitter. Whatever.
I didn't know that.
The Browns
So you following
Guardians.
Deshaun Watson?
I am, yeah.
Wow.
Go Bucks.
And he didn't block me. So, but I noticed yesterday because I was getting rid of followers or getting rid of people that I was following.
You were purging.
I was purging.
That's
He big time.
And
I
then
don't
I
think I've
noticed,
ever done that.
I noticed that DeJuan Jones was following me. So I'm like, I wonder if I send him a message, will he, like, did his PR guy just follow a bunch of people?
Right.
So I said, I just basically said, hey, DeJuan, I noticed you were following me. Thanks, I appreciate it.
P.S. This is not a love note.
No, I said, hey, I thought you played a hell of a game against Tennessee. Good luck this week against Baltimore.
So he did kind of slide into his
slid
DM.
It was
in a non-sexual way.
It was a stand-up slide.
Yeah, like
It was a stand-up slide.
like the pop
It wasn't a head-first slide.
Stand up.
It was a
and,
pop-up.
and within a short period of time, he said, a quick response. He was just, hey, thanks a lot, prayers up, or whatever.
Go
Wow.
Bucks, man.
Listen,
Look at those Buckeyes.
Good job. Good job on the ball.
Is it too late to do? So here's where we go. Is it too late to do my victory laps? Because I got about 10 of them, man.
Talking about the DeJuan Jones
I got the
thing?
DeJuan Jones. All I need is Omani Bates to hit,
Listen.
and I got a 17 parlay.
It's a
on
listen,
hot takes.
It's a win now. It's a win now for you.
Well,
but
as
it's
long
gonna
as we're
kill
gonna
the Browns
revisit
later.
Old takes
Yeah.
from G. Bush.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
This regime got 6 games.
They do. They
I don't see what I need in 6 games. They're all up out of here.
You better than me because I said 4.
Look,
I said
gave
bye
him a
week
6.
4. He out of here. But hey,
But my Anthony Walker take was freezing cold. Hey, shout out to Anthony Walker.
Yeah. Now you guys are boys, right?
Yeah, listen.
you went at
Cat.
A-Walk?
Oh,
He came
yeah,
at him
tough.
hard. He called him just a guy, and he
Oh,
said
tough.
something about superpowers or something.
Like I see, I
You
was
went at my boy A-Walk
I
hard.
went crazy.
And A-Walk clapped back.
A-Walk. Hey, bro, you know I ain't got nothing to do with
He
that.
clapped back,
He
bro.
did.
Oh, he
had a-
did?
With a
He did.
picture and everything. I said, my man. Then I had to do a blog apologizing because we didn't get nobody in free agency. You told me we wasn't getting Wagner, and I thought we was going to talk our way to Wagner, and we didn't. And I had to beg for Bob. I said, listen, Anthony Walker, please come on back. I'm sorry.
Don't hold it against me,
that-
bro.
that was-
I had a bad day.
I love
was
you
on
again.
him. That
I
was
love
on
you
me.
again.
I
I
didn't know
think
that.
the Deshaun Watson, Kevin Stefanski chest bump, even though Stefanski didn't jump,
That was
I
crazy.
think that kind of won over G. Bush on
I
Friday.
just, you know what? I just came up with an idea, and I'll throw this out and see what
Yeah.
you guys think of it. I think every Monday we all should write a love note
No.
and a breakup note with
Listen,
the Cleveland Browns
I like
player.
that. I like that.
doing that.
I love that. That is great.
You're not here on Mondays. What's up?
Sing yours in.
That's why I'm not. See that? The way Jay just came at me, I'm not moving
No,
out my
listen,
chair. Jerry, I'm not moving.
We
You
can-
going on the air.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
moving.
moving. I'm not moving.
Oh, you are moving.
Now.
No, listen, we could play
I
some
like
romantic
that.
music in
I
the
like that.
background, and I can just see G. Bush right now. Dear A-Walk, we've had our moments.
We did ups and downs.
Once upon a time, I went to the dark side. I didn't think you were all about it. But now, my heart's here for you, A-Walk. I'm asking for forgiveness. I love you. Sign G. Bush.
Come on back.
We all write love notes,
That's
and we
true.
all write breakup notes.
JOK, we thought you were the biggest scrub on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But it's all Joe Woods' fault. All of a sudden, you look like you have instincts. What happened?
Yeah.
We
yeah.
love watching you play.
Browns love notes.
Yeah.
Browns breakup notes. I'm telling you, it could be fun.
By the way, I feel like I need to become good friends with DeJuan Jones now.
I think you already are.
I think I need to become
You know
good friends
what?
with DeJuan
If
Jones.
I see you guys hanging out at the mall together,
Yes.
it's a wrap. You guys
First of
are
all,
officially an item.
Yeah, for
It's
real.
very rare that I could stand next to somebody and not look that heavy.
Yeah.
He'll
But
make you
he's
look
so big
tiny.
that I'll be like, who's the little guy over there?
We got two more offensive grades here. We have the lowest two on the list, and we're going to play guess who graded the lowest.
So it's either Batonio or Hunt.
Either Batonio or Hunt. Which one graded a 58.4?
Batonio, so because we're going to be shocked.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I'm saying Batonio 65.
So these are officially. So we didn't even get a what's the name sighting. Jed Wills was not on this list.
You knew he wasn't. gonna be
Jed
on the
Wills would have
list.
been too easy to.
What was his grade?
It's like a 51. So it actually wasn't.
Yeah,
that
we
bad.
would have called that
We
right
definitely
out.
would have said
But who do you
that.
Guys, how? I mean,
58.4 for Batonio or 58.4?
I'm gonna go with Joe Batonio because he was playing against Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons is a monster.
Yeah.
He is a beast. The answer is
Batonio.
Joel Batonio.
He was getting that work.
Wow.
So Hunt graded a 50.
That's got to be one of his lowest grades ever.
No, yeah,
Well, he
was-
Hunt graded a 65.3.
What a matchup, though. Like
Isn't
he
that
was,
funny that Batonio, you're like, oh my God, he got a 58.3. And if Jed Wills got a 58.3, you'd be like, yes!
Hey, he's
Oh,
trending,
58.3.
he's trending upwards.
Wait, it was Batonio with 58.3. Not
Correct.
Hunt.
Batonio had a 58.3.
Yeah. Hey, Simmons is a monster.
The Titans got a ton of pressure on Watson. The offensive
No, they
line
did.
was not
Well,
Yeah.
it's been that for 3 games. So we've been saying that for 3 games. Listen, Jason said that the tackle thing was going to be a problem.
He did.
And what I'm finding out is really the whole line.
Hold on.
No,
Oh, wait,
no.
hold on.
No, that's
hold
a
on.
one-off. He had a crazy tough matchup.
We are not about to make Jason Lloyd the guru when he done told us for weeks that
That Jed Wills
Jed
is
Wills is average.
Yeah.
And they should have gave him a 5th year.
Hey guys,
No.
we got Mary Kay in 2 minutes. Let's run through the defense real quick.
Yeah.
Same premise, 6 grades,
Go ahead.
6 names.
Let's go.
Top graded player in the game, a 93.3.
Myles Garrett.
Miles.
No question. I'm surprised it's that low.
It's probably going to be a shocker, and it's not. It's going to be like
If
somebody
they
else.
graded Miles in the 80s after that game, I am done with PFF. That's my breakup letter is to PFF.
Well, you're
Well,
about
the
to
good
be
news is, Jay, you do not have to break
Good.
up with PFF. The answer to the 93.3
That's a ridiculous
is
score.
That's
93.
Myles Garrett. That's
You
about as
rarely
high.
see.
Yeah,
I
very
rarely see
rarely.
anything over a 91.
I
Like,
texted
yeah.
the chat on Sunday. His grade's going to be 100 on PFF.
Yeah.
Right, you did.
Because he was everywhere.
I'm going to say the 87 was.
87.1
Ward
is your
did-
next. 87.1.
Bring the
Who
list up
graded that?
again.
Denzel.
You got JOK, Ward, Thornhill, Grant Delpit, Zedarius.
It is hard. It's
I thought
hard for
Ward played
backers. And Denzel Ward looked like he played. I'm gonna go with Za'Darius Smith.
I'm going with Zadarius Smith also.
I'm going
2 for
with
Zedarius.
I'm going with Denzel.
I'm going Denzel, too.
2 for Denzel.
2 for
Zadarius.
Denzel, 2 for Zedarius, and that means we have 0 correct answers. The
Wow.
answer
Grant Delpit.
was JOK.
Whoa!
Good
Congratulations.
You know what it is?
played
Good
great.
for him.
Hey,
Put DeQuell Jackson.
Put the camera on me.
DQ.
It's because JOK's been working out with DeQuell Jackson
That's
this
it.
past off season. If JOK don't have a good season, then that means that DeQuell Jackson is a good coach. So we're holding all of JOK's progress on DeQuell Jackson.
Do we
So,
know that
good job
DeQuell
out of you?
is working with him?
What you mean?
I don't know. It's like what he's doing is shrouded in
I
mystery.
know. It's really
on the
weird.
No one can know.
Gotta be on the payroll. He definitely getting cash
All
app.
I know
His cash app is jumping from the Haslam's.
DeQuell's
I
an
thought-
intern right now. Don't worry. He's an
I
intern.
thought it was the best game I've ever seen JOK play.
No, he
I-
was around the
I
ball.
can
Yeah.
agree with that without any issues.
Yeah, it went from a guy that should have been cut.
According to
Amazing.
DeQuell.
He was about it here.
All right, next,
All right,
Mike.
next up, a 70.7. Which one of these 4? Denzel
I mean, the next
Ward,
3 grades are
They're
all.
all so close.
Juan Thornhill, 70.
I'm gonna still say Denzel.
I'm gonna just go back to Za'Darius
I'm
Smith.
with G on Zadarius.
Okay.
Zedarius, Denzel, Thornhill, and we got 2 right answers. It is Zedarius
There it is.
Smith. The next 2 on this list graded out 1 point apart. A
Denzel.
68.7 and a 67.7. Who got the 68?
Denzel.
I'll say Denzel and Delpit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yep.
I'll go with that.
And you guys are correct.
Good
In that
answer, good
order,
answer, Sam.
Denzel,
Good answer.
Delpit, and that
Good
means Juan Thornhill rounds us out with
He
a
don't-
57.
He don't get a lot of ops, so
If you don't get
hops, you ain't get no grade.
If you ain't in the play and you mess up once,
right?
They be like, I'm gonna have a 12%.
Yeah,
that's tough.
All right, good stuff, Mike.
There were a couple players in between. I was trying to pick the ones that stood out. And on defense, like Mo Hurst was the second highest graded player. He had a 90 grade, but he only played 13 snaps. So I didn't want to include him offensively because Harrison Bryant was the highest graded player.
Right.
I did feel like that was a little
Who are the lowest, offense and defense?
I will tell you guys after Mary Kay, but we're going to bring Mary Kay on right now. And before we do that, I want to remind everybody, you helped us out yesterday. You guys came through in unbelievable fashion. We hit 4-digit likes for the first time, and at least I can remember.
Ever.
If you're out there sitting, chilling, hanging out, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It is totally, completely free. And trust me, it goes a long way to helping UCSS get out to as many Browns fans as possible. I got a DM during the show, no joke. We got a viewer watching from Israel right now. He's in Tel Aviv watching. He sent me a picture. So shout out to Jonathan Yoni Nisman. He said, what's up, McNuggets? Let the guys know I got a couple of friends. We're diehard fans from Israel. So shout out to you guys.
Nice.
We are worldwide, but we are going citywide for our next guest.
Happy
We're bringing
New
the best
Year.
of the best.
Yes,
it is the one, the only. Mary Kay Cabot. What's up, Mary Kay?
Mary Kay.
Hey, guys.
Mary
How
Kay,
you doing?
This is unbelievable. We're doing great. Thank you for joining us. I got to say, like, obviously it's a long way to go. We can't declare the Browns a great defense based on September. You got to do it when it matters. But based on all the sample size we have, is 3 games, the turnaround from this defense being trash, not bad, trash last year, to being the best defense in football by a lot through 3 weeks is remarkable. How much of it is Schwartz? How much of it is the talent they added?
I think it's a mix of those two things. I think that Jim Schwartz has installed a system that lets these guys play with their hair on fire. It keeps it simple. They know their assignments. The communication has been good. But let's also just temper the enthusiasm just a slight bit.
Sure.
I really do believe that this defense, it's sustainable. I think it's going to be an amazing defense throughout the entire season. I think it's going to be hard for teams to move the ball on the Cleveland Browns. But let's also try to pump the brakes just the tiniest bit. And remember, they've got Lamar Jackson coming to town.
That's right.
They played Joe Burrow when he had a calf injury and was not ready at all to play football, and he played it in the rain. Then they played the Steelers on just a night that started off really horribly for them, and it just wasn't a night that was conducive to great football by the Cleveland Browns, and the defense was able to get some things done in that game. And did a really nice job. But then you go to, you move on to Ryan Tannehill. You've got Derrick Henry, who's lost a step. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I don't mean to throw a bunch of water on this defense because I think it's going to be a great defense. But before we declare them the 1985 Bears, we have to remember, again, Lamar Jackson's coming into town. Kyle Shanahan is going to be looking for every possible way to exploit any little tiny chink that he can find in this defense. Everybody is going to be, trying to see what they can do to move the ball on these guys. So I think once we get to mid-November, we'll have a really good idea, what the deal is going to be in terms of just how dominant this group is going to be. But right now, it looks pretty darn good.
There you go.
Thank you.
You got to move earlier.
No, because I had told you I was going next.
Okay.
Anyways, Mary Kay, get off me. Mary Kay, G New, what is his status for this upcoming week of this game?
Good question.
I think he has a chance. It's not a serious injury, but you might also want to just let him get to the bye week and heal up. It's a hyperextended elbow, and it's not a long-term thing, but if you can maybe get through this game and let him heal up through the bye week, maybe that's the more prudent way to go about it. So we'll have to see when we get out there tomorrow how Greg is doing. Of course, you want him in this game if you can have him. But as of right now, it's probably just a little bit iffy.
We talked about the Dolphins offense, and I know you're a little busy on Sundays, so you don't get a chance to check out what's going on around the league. But obviously what that Dolphins offense did on Sunday is record-setting. We had a discussion at the top of the show, and we know that the sample size is small. It's only 3 games. But which unit has been more impressive to you so far? Is it the Dolphins offense or the Browns defense?
Oh, that's a really great question. I would have to say, for right now, I'm going to go with the Browns defense because they have looked amazing over 3 games. But, we do, of course, have to remember 3 games is a really, really small sample size. I mean, what if they had played, of course, they didn't, but I mean, what if they had played, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Tua. I mean, so we just don't know. We don't know yet for sure. But as of right now, fans should go ahead and get really, really excited about this Browns defense. I think there's still so much more to come. I mean, Z hasn't really gotten rolling yet, and some of the linebackers are just starting to come into their own. I think Obo's got a lot more where that comes from. So I'm going to go with the Browns defense for now, but I just want everybody to remember that not every game is going to be against the Titans.
Mary Kay, are you worried about the running game so far? What we've seen from Ford and Kareem Hunt. Do you think Kareem Hunt is going to be a guy that they mix more in there, or do you think they might have to go look and bring somebody else in?
Well, I think they should be okay. This was a really, really good run defense, a very stout defensive front, and Mike Vrabel came in here really determined to stop that run, even though Nick Chubb wasn't in the game. I mean, he knew that if he tried to take that away, that they could maybe somehow manage a passing game that was still trying to get up and running. But I think they can accomplish the running game. I think, let's remember, that was Kareem Hunt's first game back after a long, long layoff. He hasn't had any training camp. He hadn't had any really practices with the Browns except for a couple. Jerome Ford missed most of training camp with a hamstring injury. I think he's still ramping up. I think they can get the ground game accomplished. If you lose, say, for instance, a Myles Garrett, you're not going to go out and find somebody that can get 16 sacks for you. But in terms of the running game, and this is one of the reasons why running backs don't get paid, you can find a way to run the ball, especially behind this offensive line. It'll probably be by committee. It will probably have to be a little bit creative. It will be a work in progress. But, when you factor in Jerome, Kareem, and then you've got Elijah Moore and Deshaun Watson running the ball, I think they will have a pretty robust ground game going forward.
Mary Kay, what do you think led to Deshaun Watson's success? Because up until last Sunday, he's been struggling in Cleveland. So what did you see that led him to have the performance that he had?
Well, first of all, I feel like Deshaun's situation is so unique in the NFL that we almost have to kind of throw away most of last season and chalk it up to an 11-game suspension and a 700-day layoff, and him coming back to a team that really wasn't ready for him either. They were all, locked into Jacoby Brissett, and it was just a weird situation and a difficult situation for everybody involved. So I don't really look at that too much and lump it in with his body of work. I think you need to start fresh with this season because it's a brand new scheme, a brand new system, and all kinds of new personnel that he's working with. He and Kevin are just getting to know each other, just getting to learn each other. I think that it was a gross overreaction last week for everyone to be writing off Deshaun Watson, calling him finished, washed up, he can't play anymore. I thought it was insanity and ridiculous. I really did. I mean, it was really one game that we were talking about because you can't really judge him on the Bengals game. I mean, if Joe Burrow had been out there slinging it around and Deshaun was horrible that game, maybe. But that game was wrecked by the rain. So I really think that it was one game that everybody was focusing on, and he did not do well in that game. And here's why. He did not maintain his composure. He lost his cool. He lost his head. He pressed. He forced. He did all those things. And that's what he didn't do against the Titans. He maintained his composure, and he stayed in the game. And they also don't have a very good pass defense, and that helps.
Mary Kay, I want to give you, through 3 games, there's 4 players on the Browns that stand out to me as guys who have either done nothing or been disappointments or not very good in the past, or in DeJuan Jones' case, he's a rookie, so not a lot was expected, late-round pick. DeJuan Jones, Dustin Hopkins, of course, J.O.K., and Grant Delpit. Of those 4 guys who I think have been very impressive so far, unexpectedly to some degree, who are you most impressed with?
That's a really good premise and a good question. You know what? Right now, I'm going to go with DeJuan Jones. I've watched DeJuan Jones almost grow up before my very eyes. Okay, I stood out there. I watched him throw up on the very first day of rookie mini camp. That was fun for all of us. But I talked to him about that. I talked to him all about that and sort of did, like a little bit of a deep dive into his early experience with the Cleveland Browns, and I loved talking to him. He's a fascinating person and a really, really good guy. Browns fans are going to end up loving him. I mean, he's just a really, really cool individual. And so I'm going to go with DeJuan. Each week he comes up the learning curve a little bit more. He wants to be great. He is chasing the legacy of Joe Thomas. That's a pretty tall order, but that's what he's trying to do. And if that's where you're aiming, then you're going to do every single thing that you need to do to be really good at this. He's coming along, and I think that he deserves a ton of credit.
Go Bucks.
We just showed the PFF grades. Mikey, he had the highest PFF grade, right?
On the offensive line, correct.
On the offensive line, that's impressive. So if we're going to go kind of guys that took a step forward, I want to ask you about a guy that has been on a milk carton, and we just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and he keeps getting more money and more money and more money, and that's David Njoku. What's going on?
Well, I think in the early going here, they've had to pivot a little bit with some of their offense. In losing two-time All-Pro right tackle Jack Conklin, when you put a DeJuan in there, you have to give him some more chipping help. So I think David has probably stayed in as a blocker more than he normally would have if they had just their full complement on offensive line. They've had to pivot there a little bit. But I think David will get untracked here soon. I think they'll figure out a way to unlock him and get him the ball and help him become, what he can be. It didn't help Matters at all that he fumbled the ball away in Pittsburgh. That's the kind of stuff that you cannot do. When you get your chances, you have to make the most of them. You have to shine in those biggest and brightest moments. So he's going to have to be more consistent when it comes to that. But he's an unselfish player these days. I mean, he will just go out there and block and do whatever you need him to do. And I think as they go along, again, this offense is a work in progress, and everyone needs to remember that. Kevin Stefanski is learning how to call the game for this new collection of players, and they are learning him, including, Deshaun and Kevin trying to figure each other out. So I think as we move forward, you'll see David Njoku become more of a weapon, and he should be. I mean, his tight ends coach told us last week, he should never be covered. No one should ever be able to cover him. And even when he is covered, he's big enough to just go up and grab that football, to snatch that ball, to high point it, get it out of the air, and overwhelm a smaller defender. So I think he's going to get his targets. I think he's going to get his catches, and he darn well better get those touchdowns I keep saying he's going to have.
All right. I like that answer. That's a very good answer. Thank you.
Mary Kay, this next dude, I just don't understand. I know he's really good. Amari Cooper is awesome. But he just, I don't understand. He's one of the most underrated guys in the league. When you see him out there, he doesn't wear anything flashy. He doesn't have gloves. I think he wears lineman shoes and cleats. And his pads are big. They're clunky. He's not very fast. But when it comes to game time, nobody can guard him. And I think he's probably one of the most underrated receivers that the Browns have ever had, just because of the lack of pass catchers. I think he's one of the best in Browns wear Browns uniform. How does Amari Cooper just kind of fly under the radar for the Browns?
You know what, Garrett, I got to tell you, I agree with you 100%. When you watch Amari make a catch, it's unbelievable. I mean, he made a few catches the other day where he was completely covered. And the thing about Amari is he always, he's known for his route running, but he tried to remind everybody last year, hey, I make the contested catch too. And I think we saw some of that versus the Titans, where he was blanketed and he sort of just snatched that ball and made sure that it was his. And I do think that he's an underrated receiver. I actually think that he has Hall of Fame potential and Hall of Fame talent. I think he flies under the radar because he's quiet. Like you said, he's not super flashy. He doesn't have the diva receiver vibe going that so many of them have. He just kind of quietly goes out there and does his job. He's very cerebral. I mean, he plays chess. He's just he's just almost like a scholar instead of a receiver. And And I think that he and Deshaun Watson are starting to become dynamite together. And if these two really can keep it going, then I think Amari will put himself on the NFL map without even really trying.
Mary Kay, I'm gonna get you out here. I'm gonna get you out on this question right here, and it's not Browns related, but I've been working with the UCSS since day one. Okay. Oh my God! Here we go. They asking me to give up my chair in the middle of a show to Jerry Ferrara. Do you think that's right? Do you think that I should give up my chair?
You're moving chairs. We're not asking you to leave the set.
We're asking the Hall of Famer right now. We're asking the Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Should I move my chair and move to the end where nobody can really see me, or should he just be over there at the end? What do you think?
And wait, who's coming in to take your chair again?
Did you watch? Were you an Entourage fan? The show Entourage, or no?
No, I did not watch that. I have to
He's
catch
an
up.
actor from the show
Actor
Entourage.
Jerry Ferrara.
Okay.
He's a big deal.
Yeah.
I would just add another. Don't you have another chair? I would
Yes,
just
yes, we do.
But he left that part out, Mary Kay. We're just asking him to move down a few chairs.
No.
He's still
so
going to be on
Jerry, our
set.
guest, can sit in the middle.
We want Jerry to sit in the middle.
Mary Kay's going to decide now.
Okay,
Tyvus.
listen. Tell it like it is, Mary Kay.
Tyvus is out of control
Who
right
should
now.
sit in the middle?
Thomas, I'm just going to mute your damn mic if you keep complaining about this. We have that power.
Put your
You're
guest-
moving
put your
chairs. It is
guest
what
in
it
the
is.
middle. Put your guest in the middle and let him shine.
Boom.
There you
Yes,
go.
thank you. And
See?
so it is said,
See?
and so it will be done.
I expected
Mary Kay
better.
Cabot showing her
Thank you,
intelligence
Mary
once
Kay.
again. Mary Kay, thank you.
I think Tyvus is taking the petty title away from me today.
He's Petty LaBull today.
Petty
Listen,
Latifah.
I'm not sitting in the middle. I'm not sitting in the end.
No,
It's not
it's
happening.
Petty LaPowell.
No,
Oh, you're sitting at the end.
No, he's tit for tat Tyvus.
I'm leaving the set. I'll leave on
Thank
the
you,
set.
Mary Kay. We appreciate your insight as always.
You're going to pull a Tiki Barber? Did you guys see this?
See, here's the thing.
No,
what did he do?
I'm pulling
He walked off his
Avonte.
own show.
I'm pulling Avonte
Oh,
Davis.
Tiki. I was thinking Rondé.
So,
'cause he was
Vontae
honored
Davis.
last
I'm
night.
retiring in the middle of the show.
Tiki
So
left?
yesterday, Tiki Barber now does afternoons on the Fan in New York with Evan Roberts, with the host named Evan Roberts.
So he's not with Brandon Tierney anymore.
No, they were doing CBS Sports Radio for a long time. Now
Right.
Tiki's on locally in New York.
Yeah.
So they do the afternoon drive. Now, the show used to be, when it was in middays, it used to be, so Evan Roberts has been hosting on the Fan for a long time.
Yeah.
His former partner was a guy named Joe Beningo. So it was Evan and Joe did middays when Mike Francesa was doing afternoons.
Right.
Joe retired, but he still comes on the station once in a while.
Yeah.
And now he's a huge Jets fan. Comes on the station and once a week and talks about the Jets with Joe and Tiki.
Okay.
Well, Joe, who I know, was way out of line, and Joe started screaming at Tiki and said, "You hate the Jets because you're a Giant. You hate the Jets, and you probably didn't even watch the game." And
Oh, wow.
So he came on his show and attacked him.
yes.
Well, then Tiki.
And Joe put Evan in a tough spot because it's his old partner and his new partner.
Yeah.
But I thought Tiki just shut off his mic and walked out, which I don't think he should have done that.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's better to leave the room than to say something you might regret.
Yeah, and Tiki's not a guy that yells and screams.
No,
and
he's
does
not.
any of that,
He's very
you know.
even keel.
Where Joe's a lunatic like
But
me.
I could imagine Tiki feeling his ears get red.
Yeah.
And he said, "I got to take
I'm
myself
out.
out of this situation," and
Yeah.
I have respect for that.
Yeah.
Typically,
it was
I
a
don't,
weird
I don't
situation.
like it when someone
yeah.
walks off the set of a show.
Yeah.
I think it's a low move. But it's his show, and he's getting attacked by the guy that used to be in that chair.
Yeah, right.
I think Evan made the mistake by even putting him in that spot.
Are you?
It was a tough spot.
Are you
Yeah.
insinuating that it's a low move if I go behind the glass?
Yeah,
If you take off that mic and you walk off the set,
Yeah.
you become Tiki Barber
Yeah.
without the Super Bowl ring.
Okay, I was about to say
He
that's
was,
a
I think he
let
doesn't
it
have
go.
one.
Let it go. Let it go.
He didn't get one.
Yeah, you're right. He was gone
He
when the
left
Giants won
as soon
there.
as he left.
That's
He
right.
was the curse of the Giants. They were able to win after.
You're right about that.
Guys, real quick, if you need any Browns gear for the upcoming season, if you want to hang out with me and Bull on a tailgate, you better be wearing Browns gear. And if you're going to get Browns gear that you don't already have, you better buy it at fanatics.com/UCSS. It has all the same deals, prices, everything you would see on the normal Fanatics site. But if you put the /UCSS on the back end of that, we end up getting a little bit of a barter deal with Fanatics. You didn't like me when I said kickback, so we
Yeah.
get a little money on the
Kickback
back
just
end.
made it
as
sound
a,
dirty.
Yeah.
You're right. So as a partnership with them, we get a little money back. And also, guys, this is actually big, and I have to pull it up here because I downloaded it and don't have it up. But we have a new sponsor this week on the
Nice.
Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And as I filibuster while I pull up this
That's a
up,
bad job out of you, Mike.
I know I had it up. DoorDash. Guess what?
Oh,
If you're hungry
For real?
which I know we all are.
I should have
Whether
some
it's
food
Browns
delivered
games,
right now.
I agree.
Whether it's that, we actually should DoorDash food to the show.
We should.
I think
If
we
you
should.
use promo code Locked On in the next 2 weeks, promo code Locked, not on, just Locked, LOCKED, you get 50% off your first order with DoorDash.
Wait, what? We need to do
You
that
get
right
what?
now. How many wings do
Promo
we
code
need?
Locked.
How many wings do we
You
need?
get 50% off.
50% off your first order if you use promo
Wow.
code Locked.
Why are we not doing that right now?
Yeah, we should be.
Because it runs for 2 weeks. You better believe we're getting food in here every day.
That's right.
Using promo code
Well,
Locked.
I think we
50% off.
I think it's only fair that since if y'all making me move my seat, we got to wait till Tuesday and Wednesday to do that.
Okay.
All right.
Let me ask you this, guys.
We'll let you get that off.
Mike,
You're so petty.
Mike mentioned the tailgate. I need the panel's opinion here.
Okay.
So last week I was originally going to go to the tailgate, but I had to cancel and not go. My plan was to now go this week. However, my custom-made Browns T-shirt that I ordered,
Oh, I thought you got a jersey.
I decided to get a T-shirt.
Oh, damn.
He got
Well,
a T-shirt
we're
because he
paying
thought it
for
would
it.
be here.
No, I paid for it. But
Well, we offered to pay
the
for
reason
the jersey.
the only reason I bought the T-shirt instead of the jersey is because they said I would get it faster,
Oh.
and I wanted to have it for this week.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just found out yesterday that I'm not getting it before this Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'm not going to get it to next week. So should I go without the T-shirt and do this week, or should I wait till the Niner
Wait
game?
for the shirt.
For the Niner
Oh, the
game.
Niner game.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I might do that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
listen, that'll be a lot of people there.
But now here's the thing. If they lose the Ravens game,
Right.
enthusiasm goes down a little
I
bit.
know.
And the Ravens tailgate's going to be off the
But
hook.
if they beat the Ravens and you have 2 weeks to build up to the Niners, it's going to be
That'll be
insane.
So I would think that there would be someone watching this show right now
Yeah.
that knows someone that sells jerseys that can get Bull a custom jersey by Sunday.
The team shop gonna do that? You can't like. Go
I don't
there.
know.
I
don't
went
know.
on the Browns website. I went everywhere. The soonest
No,
I could,
I mean
the
in
jersey
town.
was
You know
gonna
how
take
you
a-
can
yeah.
go to a sporting goods store
Right.
and you can buy a jersey and they
Yeah.
can number it and name it right
My
there.
Browns T-shirt.
So you
it's
telling me
gonna
the
say-
Guardians can do that, but they can't?
I
The
know, they
Browns
should be
can't?
able to do that because the Guardians
Oh,
can
is
do
that-
that. If anybody watching knows how to get a custom-made jersey
ASAP.
with Bull's name and number on the
Got
back.
to be like 4X.
What number are you going with?
I went with 69.
I can't believe you went with 69. I can't.
But the T-shirt is 69 and then the bull.
Is that the
my
most Bull thing
goodness.
ever?
Yes.
Well, you ordered a jersey?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, he did.
No, you can't. I'm not going to tailgate with you in a jersey.
Those are like pajamas.
Yeah, I'm not
you
going to
need the
tailgate with you in a
jersey.
jersey.
It's not a jersey.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
Here's
a
what I would
jersey,
like
yeah.
to see Bull walk up as.
I
okay?
I wanted to get it fast.
I want to get him a pair of Browns football pants. I want to get him an authentic helmet. Will you fit in Bernie's helmet?
No.
No. I want Bull coming in full regalia. That I'm telling you, the Muni lot, which is 100
That's
yards behind
crazy.
us,
Yeah.
will go bananas.
I should have gotten the jersey, but I wanted to get
the eye black.
Yeah.
The eye black.
Gotta get that.
That would've been pretty
You gotta
sweet.
get
Hey,
that.
real quick, we're going to have to team discussion.
Go
Jared
ahead.
Ferrara is in the building.
He's here.
He's here in the building. He's upstairs in the lobby. Earl's going to get him. Do we want to save our Week 3 recap for overtime and get as much time with Jerry as we can?
Yeah, let's
Bring
do
him in?
that.
It's up to you guys.
But
I
yes,
got a
I
couple
think we
things
should
I
do
can
that.
do real quick to fill. I got super chat still. I got.
By the way, let me ask you this: did you guys watch the Bengals-Rams game
I
last
did.
night?
Yeah.
Did you see?
I hate the 2 Monday Night Football games on at the same time, by the way.
It sucks.
I hate it. It's stupid. End it.
And if you're going to do
Is
it,
that going to go all year?
but if you're going to do it, have it at 7 and 10.
Yes.
Not
Don't
at 7:30 and 8:30.
Don't overlap these games. What is the NFL
so
doing?
stupid.
Why they doing that?
I hate it. It's stupid.
And why put the cut in when if I wanted to watch the other game, I'd just go watch the other game?
I couldn't agree more.
It
When
doesn't
they
make
did
any
that
sense.
last week with the Browns, I was
It's hideous.
screaming at my television.
They got to
But
get it in.
I thought overall, obviously the Bengals offense is progressing.
They look better.
I thought their defense was fantastic.
Defense played lights out.
Trey Hendrickson was amazing. But
Hendrickson and Hubbard are turning into like quite the tandem.
Yeah, Hendrickson had a 92 PFF grade yesterday. Did you see, the interception by that Rams player?
Unbelievable.
One of the best interceptions I've ever seen.
Oh,
took
you
it
talking about my
away.
boy Kellen Witherspoon?
How did
Oh,
he
you
get
know
that
my boy
ball?
Spoon.
That was an unbelievable
That was my
That
boy
is an
saying
all-time
for it.
play.
You might not see a better interception this
Crazy.
year.
I was like, when they said interception, I was like, what?
I know, because it was right in the receiver's arms,
And he just
he
pulled it out of his
whipped
belly. It was just amazing.
It was
that.
nice to see that. Spoon is one of the dudes that when I was in San Francisco, okay, I watched him and I said, this might be one of the best corners I've ever seen. Like from an athletic standpoint, like this dude is really not a lot that he can't do.
Yeah.
And it just in the game, it never materialized. Like it was just something that just wasn't there that kept holding him back. And we would always sit there like, Spoon, like, what are you doing?
Is it?
Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And he's been bouncing around trying to figure it out. But that play that he made is something that I've seen him do many a day. So I'm like, why can't you just be consistent and do it on Sundays all the time?
Yeah.
So hopefully he's figuring it out.
Mikey, where are we going?
I got some super chats I want to read just so we get those out of the way now. And I know the last one I read, Bull, is going to get you off on a little tangent.
All right.
So I want to remind people one more time. I know we just said it, but once again, it was so good it has to be repeated. If you use promo code LOCKED, you get 50% off your next DoorDash order.
That's unreal.
That's ridiculous.
In the next 2 weeks. That is the best deal.
You could order double the food and pay the price.
What if I order $300 worth of food?
$150.
Is there a limit to it?
I'll look into it, but I'm not seeing anything that says there's a limit.
Locked. I'm locked in.
It's only one. Well,
I have to look
so
into
it's
it.
4 of us. So if you do it one time, you do it what? That's 50% off for all of us.
For a week.
I'm looking into it. All I'm telling you is that's what I got on the paper here. Use promo code LOCKED for 50% off. We got some super chats here while we wait for Jerry Ferrara to join us. And I'm going to end with the first one. So, Kevin, I see yours. We're going to end with that because it's going to set Bull off. First one comes from Wood Dog MTG. I was so thankful Sunday for Schwartz. Look how the Joe Woods defense melted down again with a big lead on Sunday. Go Browns, G. Bush. I'm drinking on that Kool-Aid too.
Yes, sir.
Cats are cool. Says San Francisco plays Sunday night game the week before we play them. Doubt they'll flex our game. P.S.
Well, they don't have the
McNuggets.
chance to flex it. I mean, they can
they
make it the national game, right? They can turn it to 4 o'clock.
This is a throwback from the post-game show.
Don't do that either.
The guy's name is Cats Are Cool. He said, I am not Anthony, but I have been watching from Virginia. And Jerry Ferrara is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get Jerry on here in a sec. Next super chat comes from James Dillard. I hope Browns are keeping recipes on how the national media is covering them, wins versus losses. Embrace and treat them accordingly. Also, Jay, you need therapy. Get help. Don't know where that came from.
I may be the most well-adjusted person on this panel.
Jordan Tarman says if the Browns end up going 6-1 into November, what do you think their overall record would be for the season? If they're 6-1 through 7 games, final 10, real quick around the horn, what's the record?
11-6.
Ooh.
If they start 6-1 beating the Niners and the Ravens, I think they're going better than 11.
I think they'll win 12 games.
So I think they'll be like
They might be 13-4.
12, 13-4, and they get the first round bye.
I mean, if they go 6-1,
10-7, and I'm not moving off of it.
Yeah, but you're talking about a colossal collapse here. If you're 6-1 in your first 7, if you go 500
you're 11
in your
wins.
last 10, you're at 11 wins.
That's right.
If you go 6-4 after going 6-1, you're 12-5. 6-1, that's a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But if
and
you're
it would include wins over the Niners, the Ravens, and the Bengals.
And look at the back end of the schedule,
but
too.
Still, yeah.
There are some very winnable games on the back end of that schedule.
Go ahead, Mikey.
We got 2 more. This first one's from Simple. He says, UCSet, get hip to it, #Junkyard Dogs. Pedro, I see your super chat, Pedro. That's a topic coming up this week. So we're going to save that when we can dive deep into it. And the last super chat before we bring in our guest comes from Kevin Robinson. Bull, you got a few minutes if you want to go off on this. But he said, I heard on the radio this morning a new nickname for the defense. Hell's Elves. What do you guys think about Hell's Elves?
I saw this, and I brought this up to the guys on the show. Whoever came up with this idea, and I know some of those guys over on KNR, this is the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. Hell's Elves? It doesn't rhyme. It doesn't make any sense. It is the worst nickname ever. I'm not going to say the person who came up with this should be fired because that's too extreme. But
Was it a caller or a host?
It was one of the hosts.
Oh, wow.
On the really big show. That person should be suspended for a week. You should suspend them for a week for terrible taste. And you can't trust anything. Don't take food advice from them. Don't take any advice from this person. That is the dumbest nickname ever. Ever.
And on behalf of the Kool-Aid Mafia, in the black community as a whole. We do not co-sign Hell's Elves. We will not be co-signing that.
It's even awkward to say.
It's a
Hell's
tongue
Elves.
twister.
Yeah, right.
Like you'd be
a nickname's got to flow.
It's got to be organic. It's got to flow.
Elves.
I don't want elves in the nickname. I don't.
You're right.
Yeah,
It's stupid.
Like, I just don't look.
That's idiotic. All right, Mike. Let's bring Jerry in, man.
All right, we are ready. So let's run one last fast break, and we're going to bring our guest in, and let's have some fun here as Jerry joins us after
Get the hell up, Tyvis.
All right, guys, it's time to remind everybody that if you're not already a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, the question is, what are you waiting for? It is football season, and this is the 4-month stretch that it is imperative to you as a Cleveland Brown fan to become a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show for $1.99 a month, less than $2 a month, less than $24 for the entire year. You can become a Starters Tier member, and if you're a Starters Tier, you get loyalty badges, custom emojis to use in the YouTube chat. We're only a few members away from unlocking the next custom emoji for you guys to use to add to our already carousel of fun, unique emojis. Plus, you get to interact with us in the community tab on our YouTube page with special members-only community polls and posts and questions, etc. But that's just the first tier. If you want to be a big baller, how about we introduce you to the coaches tier for $4.99 a month? That is less than $5 a month, less than $60 for the entire year. You get all those same starter tier perks, plus overtime videos on the daily. That is 40 to 50 minutes of extra content every week, up to an hour, plus member shout-outs, discount codes for merch, and much, much, much more. During football season, being part of the coaches tier is an exclusive club that you do not want to be on the outside of. It is top tier, worth your money, and always a lot of fun in overtime. We get off the rails. You think the show gets off the rails sometimes during the regular 10 hours of content we do during the week? Well, wait till we get unhinged here in overtime. You can only be part of those overtime conversations and discussions if you are a coaches tier member. And you can find that button to become a member, the join button. It's on the homepage of our YouTube page. Also, if you missed it yesterday, G. Bush was on the Barbershop breaking down the Browns' win over the Titans, going into depth on Deshaun Watson's performance, what makes this defense so unique, and why Jim Schwartz was the perfect man to lead the Browns to the promised land defensively. And he's not on today, but he is back tomorrow, 3 to 4 p.m. on the UCSS YouTube page. That is all the G. Bush you could ever imagine, hope for, and want. The Kool-Aid Mafia is coming through strong, as the Panda Gang does as well. G. Bush from the radio shows on Saturday morning to UCSS Monday through Friday, and then extra content for the people. That is every Monday and Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And one more reminder for the people out there, next Monday we are doing a second UCSS show live from Cavs Media Day. We are going after the regular show, 2 hours of normal content, 11 to 1. That is unchanged. That is here recapping everything after the Browns-Ravens game this Sunday. And then we're setting up a remote studio at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We are going live from Cavs Media Day. Myself, Brad Sellers, Earl, Anthony, Jason Lloyd. Plus, we have been promised a plethora of current Cavs players who will come sit down and talk to us throughout the afternoon. It'll be 2 hours of live Cavs content from Cavs Media Day, and that is taking place next Monday.
All right, McNuggets, thank you. Great stuff.
And we have our guest. We've been waiting. He is here.
Jerry is in the building.
Only.
Can we take?
Yeah.
Let's hear for Jerry. But look at the wide shot. Look who moved.
Look, he's pouting over here.
Look who's being
Tyvis, stop pouting, will you?
Come out of your shell.
It's not right. It's just not right.
Let it go.
It ain't right.
Jerry, how you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm happy to be here. I feel like you guys dragged me into a bit. I didn't know what was happening. I walked in, but you're taking it well. You're taking it well.
Jerry, your wife.
Is he?
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Your wife is from Cleveland, right?
My wife was born and raised in Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah.
We both met out in LA like 10 years ago. We moved back here about 3 years ago.
You live here full time?
I'm here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the street, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm living. I'm eating the pizza. I'm here.
Are you an East Sider or a West Sider?
I still don't quite know what that means. I'm south of here. Also, directionally, I'm a mess. I'm still on.
Fair enough.
I'm on Google Maps everywhere.
People from Brooklyn don't know directions. I'm like that too.
Everything's numbered.
Everything's numbered.
Yeah, right.
And the streets are you got Avenue B. You drive up Ocean Parkway, and
I guess I'm south of here.
Okay, fair enough.
Give it to us straight. Don't give us the PR answer. I love Cleveland. Like, give us your real gut feeling of being a Clevelander.
I love it. We've been together 10 years, so before we even moved here, I've been coming here. Every holiday, every Christmas was here. So I built a good friend group, and as a huge sports guy, it's one of the best sports cities, I think, in the country. And I've had great conversations for years with Clevelanders about the team. So that's why I was a little confident to move here. I had a crew already. I had a little bit of a base, so it wasn't like I'm...
You had an entourage.
I had a little bit of an entourage, although these days, it's more kids than actual friends.
Right. So when you talk to your New York buddies, I know what they say.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland, bro, what are you doing in Cleveland?
They still say that to me in 13 years later.
I know they do. Listen, when I lived in the Northeast, when I would come home, they would act like I was living in the pit of the world. But when I would tell people that I was from Cleveland, they would say, wow, you're one of the lucky ones you got out. So what do you say to them?
I love New York. I love my New Yorkers. My family's still there. But all I say is, I guess I enjoy the space and not living in a tiny apartment for $1 billion a month. That's one upside. There's a lot of upside here.
No traffic?
No traffic. Look, the winter, we could it is what it is. Accept it.
Right. Food scene?
Food scene's great here. I think you have to look a little harder to find it. In New York, you just kind of walk and it's all in front of you. But I have my list. People handed me lists.
I want your list, bro. I think our viewers
pizza's
want
like
your
the
list.
main thing.
What's your favorite pizzeria here?
I feel like I'm going to get... I don't want to alienate. I have a top three.
No, you won't.
Hey, here's the thing
I do it all the time.
We keep it absolutely
I'm about to say,
that's right.
You had to just tell it like it is.
We say it sucks.
No, you don't have to say a bad place, but what's your favorite?
This is no insult to my number 2 and 3, but my number 1 currently is Il Rione.
Yes.
They're very good.
That's it. Well, the guys that own that place are from New York.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why everybody loves it, though. I mean, even whether you're a New Yorker and you've had East Coast pizza or not, it's just so good.
Il Rione's the best. Is the best pizzeria here. There's no.
Do they deliver?
No, you got to pick it up.
See, they're not playing with you. You got to go in.
Wait, we get 50% off Grubhub. Does Grubhub?
DoorDash. Whoa.
DoorDash.
If you're gonna
DoorDash.
Hey, I'm about to say, you better get it right.
You could be a sponsor. I'm sorry.
Speaking of sponsors, real quick, Jerry, while we have you, you just launched a new multi-stream on all your things. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do you want to tell the people about the multi-stream before we get into everything else in your career?
Yes, as we know, there was, it looks like it's resolving now, the big strike out in Hollywood with the Writers Union and the Actors Union.
Solved, right?
The Writers Union seems like it's,
it is?
they made
it yesterday. Now they got the vote
preliminary deal. It's got to be ratified, which I had to figure out what ratified fully meant. Which means
look that up before I vote.
I just was getting so bored, and I just love sports and the countdown to football season, so I just needed a forum to talk about it with my friends and stuff like that. But this setup, I gotta say, is way better than being in my basement doing a multi. This is way better what you guys got going on here.
Hey, Jared, anytime, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, no, not anytime. Not anytime.
He's only here twice a week.
Monday, Thursday,
He's only here twice a week.
You know what? Let's get on the calendar together so I don't want to overlap.
Yeah.
I don't want to overlap.
Now you're a big Giants fan.
I like this guy.
I'm a big Giants fan.
But guys, what not everybody knows is you were sitting with Aaron Rodgers at Knicks playoff games. So did he try to talk you into switching off? I know you won't, but did he try to talk you into the Jets?
No, it was. And back then, that was what? Was May, game 2, Knicks Heat. So it was still, it just happened. It was 2 weeks. I don't even think the guy had a place to live yet at that point in New York. So no, I got to say, we nerded out on basketball, and Sauce Gardner was there too. We talked hoops for an hour and a half, and then just had some New York talk. No, I don't think he's trying to convert me, nor did the fan base need me. As we know, the Jets, it was the summer of the Jets, which is
it was.
That went away
sad,
quickly.
But true.
Yeah, that lasted about 2 snaps.
Yeah, I do feel bad, though. Normally, I don't, it's an injury, so you got to give them, sympathy.
Sure.
Can we get to the real conversation? We need to understand. We got to get to this entourage and power thing.
Yeah.
I came in when I don't be reading my text messages. They was just like, we got a big guest coming on. I said, Proctor's on? Proctor in the building. Let's go. Listen, I'm like, he be hiding the gun for Ghost and everything.
Listen.
And I totally co-signed what you did to your ex-wife on that thing on Power. You should have got her up out of here.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Listen, but so when it comes to, people approaching you, is it Entourage,
Turtle,
or Joe Proctor?
Which one?
Well, the recency bias, of course, leans to Power because Entourage at this point next year, Entourage aired 20 years ago.
That's
20. I was 23 years old.
It was one of the first premium cable shows.
Yeah. That was like, it was basically Sopranos, Oz, Sex in the City, and then Entourage was the next in line. So recency-wise, it's definitely Power. And if I had to say, too, I think Power just had a bigger fan base overall because when I'm in New York, I'll be on one street and someone will come up to me and say, Turtle, and all this stuff. And Entourage fans are a little more handsy. They put hands on you. Come on, you got to take this picture with me.
Don't touch my body.
They want to smoke a joint with me. I'm like, I don't know you like that, man. Sorry. I would love to, but I also, I don't know. That could be laced with God knows what.
Yeah, good call.
But then I'll cross the street, and I'll run into a Power fan, usually a little younger, and they're just like, Entourage? No, they'll say, oh, I love your work. I'm like, what? Entourage, Power? They're like, what's Entourage? And they're only Power fans. I mean, the Power premiere for the season finale was at Madison Square Garden to give you an idea of what the fan base is.
What was that like for you, growing up where that's your mecca?
It was surreal. I still can't believe it to this day. And 50 and Snoop performed
I was
before.
about to say, you talked to 50.
There's a 2-hour concert before the show.
That's crazy.
And they brought us on stage to introduce the episode, and I still, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have a moment like that. So Power's been incredible. And let me tell you, Power fans, too, they'll let you know. You were either loved or hated on that show.
You was loved.
And some people want to be hated. It's fun to be hated on that show.
Yeah.
I feel like I was loved, and it means something to me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that. You are Davis McLean. Who can get somebody out of a jam better? You or Davis?
So, look, first of all, love Method Man. I grew up in Brooklyn. I used to go to Staten Island Mall just to catch a glimpse of Wu-Tang. I'm like, oh, I heard Wu-Tang's at the mall. Let's go see. You got to go with Proctor, man. They've done this vote online, and I feel like I've won it. But
man, Proctor used to hide the weapons. He knew the indictment was coming. He said, Angela, you got to get rid of Angela. She's funny. I know you like her.
See, I think Method Man once said, Proctor was a rat, right? Because he was caught up in flipping on Tommy. But if you really break it down between Tommy and Ghost, Proctor was just loyal to Ghost at that moment.
Yes.
If he was flipping, it was on Tommy, who put 9 bullets in him anyway. So I think he had cause.
How you miss, man? You had
just doing this.
It's not as easy as they make it look.
Let me tell you, too, on that set, you get a lot of training anytime you're handling a weapon, right? And that's still, even though it's blanks and all that, it is never good to be on the other side of that, even for acting. But the one thing the armor, they call it, was like, look, just don't do the thing where you try to throw the bullets. And I did it. If you look back, I did it. I couldn't help myself. It's like you need the extra 2 miles an hour.
That's why you missed. Jared, how did you get into this?
Oh, man, we really got to go back in time. I got to say, for me, it was always a love of TV and movies. While a lot of my friends growing up, even at 15 years old, were getting into trouble, going out to even clubs and doing all that stuff, I was just watching movies and TV shows.
So you knew early on?
Yeah, it brought me to another place. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to get away in my mind from some things growing up in Brooklyn. But yeah, it was a love of TV and film. I always say I could have easily been a grip or a DP or an editor and been just as happy. That's how much I just love it. I just love TV.
So
and
what was what's your training? How did you? What were the steps from you deciding as a young kid that's what I want to do to you being there at a very young age on a huge stage?
It happened pretty quick. I took some classes in a community college in Staten Island, not far from where the Wu-Tang was.
Okay.
And I had taken this acting class because I heard the teacher gives you an A if you just show up. And this dude failed me the first term.
Wow, it's like the coach for Michael Jordan.
Other people who barely showed up passed, and I remember talking to him like, I'm actually over here trying. He's like, that's why I'm failing you, because I want you to take this class again, because I actually think you have some talent.
Wow.
And he pointed me in a good direction of some plays, and I did a lot of that stuff. And an agent scouted me out and said, move to LA and I'll represent you. And back in 2000, it's like, oh yeah, it's Hollywood talk.
Yeah.
And I went and I visited LA and I signed the deal and I told my mother, Mom, I'm leaving. She's like, okay, sure. And all my friends, oh, you'll be back in a week. Yeah. And that was 23 years ago. And I never.
It's hard. Like when you hear those stories, it's like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
But for every one of your stories, Jerry, I played baseball 20 years ago in Jersey with a guy, Panzarella.
Sure.
He's had probably 20 little roles in a lot of these, similar shows to you're on now. But he has been grinding at this for 20 years, and he's very good, and you would recognize him, but he hasn't gotten that big break yet. What has to happen for? Is it luck? Is it skill? Is it right place, right time?
That's the hardest thing, because and I think it even equates to what you guys are doing here. Like, so often I get asked, like, what's a good strategy, and that's the hard thing. There is no great strategy. I can't say, hey, if you do this, this, and this, great things will happen, because so many people do those things and nothing happens. I did get asked one time though, coming home from a shoot, I ran into this dude on the street and he was like, what's like the easiest way to get into? I'm like, right there you made a mistake. You said, what's the easiest way?
Yeah, there's no shortcuts.
Come on, man. There is no easy way. But man, when I was a kid, you just don't know any better. I would get like a 2-day acting job, make like $2,000. I quit my job in the restaurant, like at a half baked. I'd be like, F you. At $2,000, I'm rich. I live off that for a little bit, and then I go begging for my job back after like 2 months. I'm like, my job back, please.
Wasn't King of Queens? Was that your first?
That was my first.
I love that show. That was so funny.
Still holds up today.
Leah Remini,
and Kevin James.
I was just talking with her on Twitter. She posted something about that show, and that was the show. That was the job that got me into SAG. That was my first speaking part on television. And I quit my job right after I got that part. I worked for 3 days.
You were one of Kevin James's entourage, right? What was your role?
My role was, for lack of a better word, his character was on strike with the fake UPS, whatever it was, and he took a substitute teaching job. I was 20 years old. I looked like I was 15, so I was playing a high school like sophomore.
Wow.
At 20 years old, busting his chops.
Jerry, awesome. I got to ask you this. So, Entourage is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Appreciate that.
And thank you. And you were great on that. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. But
thank you for his work.
I did not buy Turtle being able to pull Ronda Rousey.
Okay, at that
I think she was above his league.
See, I always heard that with the
UCLA girl.
Go back before the UCLA girl. My character dated Jamie Lynn Sigler from The Sopranos,
that's right, yes.
who's playing herself on the show.
Yeah. Right.
I think even there were rumblings amongst the writers like, could Turtle ever get?
No, it's all.
We were dating in real life.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yes. So I can't say I will. I think I'm more charming.
He said all that down. He's like, I got real life.
So did you ask her if Tony was killed in that final scene?
You know, I didn't. We might have broke up before that episode aired. I'm not quite sure. I have my own theories. But as far as the Ronda thing, I mean, I think if you look at it, I think we tried to play Ronda as maybe rooting for the underdog a little bit. And Turtle was
I'm kidding.
No, it's a great question. I often ask myself, this is not believable at all.
I mean, you pulled it off. But you had Gabrielle Union and Think Like a Man. You're just doing it big.
That's true. That's impressive.
I forgot about that.
I almost turned down that movie because I said, there is no way anyone's going to believe that I won't marry Gabrielle Union's character.
Right.
She wanted to get married, and I was like the shy, I don't want to put a ring on it guy. I'm like, no one's going to believe that.
You jump at that.
That's such a good movie.
Everybody say it turned out to be a really great movie.
Funny.
What's the role that you want or a role that you read for that you didn't get?
You know, I'm a little sad because I at some point wanted to be in a sports movie where I could have played not maybe even an athlete, but just like the scrub on the bench that gets one at bat or something.
Right.
Those days are behind me. I was at one point going to play Arturo Gatti. That's one I wish happened.
Wow.
That's my favorite fighter of all time. I was in excellent shape and 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So that's always the one that kind of got away from me. But now I'm looking at coaching roles. I think I'm now graduating into high school coach, stuff like that as I get older and older.
Yeah. Do you still keep up with the guys from Entourage? Are you guys all buddies?
Kevin Connolly, who played E, called me when I was backstage just now.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we're talking about meeting up and playing for some golf out on the West Coast. So, it's like a family, man. And some guys you talk to more consistently than others, but, if I ran into any of them or anyone called me, I would drop whatever. Those are my brothers at this point,
I read a quote from Kevin Connolly in which he said, "You are the most unlike your actual character." Do you believe that?
I think so, because if you look at the Turtle character, he did not know he was not the best-looking dude in the room. He did not know he was not the most athletic guy. He just had this irrational confidence. And me, I'm sort of like,
dude, you're a good-looking guy. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying, I just expect nothing. I expect nothing, And he just shot his shot with every woman, and he just lived that life. He had no problems living off his boy. I could never do that. So And I didn't enjoy it as much when I was younger, man. Like, those guys were going out a little bit more than me. I was trying not to screw it up. I was on don't get fired territory. Like, I'm going home after work.
Because you were pitching yourself, right?
If I go out, I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to get into trouble and mess it up.
Me and Tyvus be talking about that the other day. We not going out, Tyvus.
Yeah. But even at the end, you guys were on forever. You were still like that?
Once we sort of got to, the show did 8 seasons. Once we got to maybe season 5, and it was real job security, and the show was a hit, and there was a bunch of awards and stuff, I did enjoy. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy it. I did.
Yeah.
And I stepped out a little more. But man, if Turtle was in my position and he enjoyed himself, the character enjoyed the position they were in. I did not enjoy it.
Did you find that when you did go out, people expected you to be Turtle when you were out?
I disappointed a lot of people. I disappointed a lot of people. Especially with the, take a shot, smoke a joint, come on, we're going to party all night. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going home.
They know you as that guy.
Did you hang with the real Turtle? Were you guys hanging or not
really?
So
there was a few different versions. That's something that gets thrown around a lot because it was loosely based on Wahlberg. Yeah. But then when you see Adrian Grenier, who played Vince, he's definitely not Wahlberg, on a physicality level as well. Sure. So there was a couple of people who claimed that Turtle was based on them. But we did meet.
Gotcha.
There was a real Johnny Drama. He was Mark's trainer, I think, at one point. We met all those dudes early on, and then we were on autopilot after that.
McNuggets, what you got?
If we're talking Entourage, could I ask 2 Entourage questions that me and my college buddies who binged that show about 5 times have always truly wondered?
I just recently rewatched it.
Okay, I hope I can answer them for you.
Okay, first, this one you will know.
Okay.
Are Drama's calves really that small?
So, look, Kevin Dillon, who is the best, one of the greatest guys on earth, he was pissed off about that. It was a weird storyline. We all thought it was a weird storyline. Sure enough, though, fans loved it. They thought it was hilarious. Kevin Dillon has really good calves.
Wow.
Like giant calves. They had to shoot around his calves to make them look smaller. That's how big his calves were. And, him being who he was, is like, this is ridiculous. I have to pretend like my calves are small. Kevin Dillon, in real life, great calves.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
What's your second one?
That one, that's going to make a lot of my college buddies happy. Yeah. Jerry, I'm really curious. How did you guys settle on Bobby Flay to be the celebrity to steal Ari's wife? Because it's the perfect decision because he's so innocuous and not a big name. But
what you mean in the cooking world? That's Bobby Flay.
No, I know, but compared to Ari in the show, Bobby Flay was the perfect casting choice to be the one to steal Ari's wife. How did Bobby Flay get chosen as that celebrity to steal Ari's wife?
So I can't say this 100% because I was not behind the door when those decisions were made, but I remember when the decision was made. Number one, there was always a list. At that point in the show, people were calling us to be on.
I bet, yeah.
Early on, first 2 years, we were begging for cameos. And there was a few people I remember from those first 2 years that came on and supported and came on to have fun. A lot of based on Wahlberg's relationships, too, and the real Ari's relationships. But that was at a point where we had a flowing list of people. So I think Doug Ellen just said, who would be a great counter to Ari and that big personality, and it was celebrity super chef Bobby Flay.
That is so good.
And Bobby wanted to be on the show and came on and leaned into being the opposite of Ari.
Right.
And also, that year, Bobby Flay beat me in a fantasy Super Bowl, so I'm still pissed off now.
How many leagues are you in?
I'm off of fantasy. I'm in one league.
It's a big league, right? Is it the big one with Jerry O'Connell and Julius Randle still? Or are you out of that league?
That's the one. I just got out of that one because, first of all, too, you hear that, oh, you want to be in a league with NBA players? Sure. It's high stakes. Great. And then you go, oh, wait a minute. Those guys make way more money than I've ever made.
There's high stakes and then there's NBA high stakes.
I think my high stakes are okay, and then you think NBA high stakes, but luckily it wasn't crazy at all. But no, I'm down on fantasy as a whole, and maybe it's because sports betting. I think I just like betting more.
Yeah.
I've been betting since I was 12 years old. That's how you learn math, I think, in Brooklyn. Is
you go to a
all
bookie.
New Yorkers know how to bet.
Yeah, we go to the bookie.
That's it. That's how we learn. We learn math.
And or the sheets. Remember those sheets? Those football.
Yeah, the bookie sheets.
Yeah.
You check the winner.
That's right.
What's your best betting story? Either win or lose.
Well, I just had a pretty good one with the Steeler game because I had a nice little parlay, and I needed a Freiermuth touchdown and fell asleep and woke up at 2 in the morning to pee and saw that touchdown. So that parlay hit. That was a good one. We actually hit a good one. This is not it's sports-ish betting. We shot an episode of Entourage at the racetrack. And I think it was actually the Yom Kippur episode, and it was a real racetrack in San Diego, so we were betting, and we hit a 77-1. We all threw up some money, and I think it was because the horse was from Ireland, and Dylan and Connolly it's an Irish horse.
Gotta go.
Just take the Irish horse, and I think that thing paid out large.
Wow, 77.
I might still have cash from that.
You're a Yankees fan, right?
I am.
So
yes.
because usually Yankees and Giants go together.
Yep.
So has it been? Is your wife a big sports fan?
She is. Since we have kids, her sports watching has declined while mine is trying to hang on for dear life. But no, she beats me in heads-up fantasy leagues. We do FanDuel and DraftKings and all that stuff. She beats me regularly.
But in the last year, the Yankees played the Guardians last year. And of course, the Cavs, embarrassed themselves against them.
Don't even bring that up.
So did you give her a hard time?
We've got no bragging rights in either of those.
So, okay, this is great. I did not come up with this phrase, and my buddy Ben Lyons did, but I think it's totally relevant. All Cleveland teams are my team-in-law, right? What that means is,
I like that too.
What that means is,
you inherited them.
If they're not head-to-head with my team, I'm all for it. I want my in-laws to be happy. Life is better when they're happy.
Sure. Yeah.
But when it's Knicks Cavs first round, and let me tell you, living here, all my neighbors, everyone was all over me, very cocky that the Cavs were going to destroy the Knicks, and I just, we'll see. Well, yeah, maybe you probably will. And then as they're winning, I'm playing the straight man. I'm playing it cool. I'm actually throwing out the first pitch at the Guardians game tomorrow night.
Oh, nice.
Really? That's
and
awesome.
I'm terrified. Because,
don't.
Well, we threw out the first pitch, me and the other guys from the show, years ago, Dodgers Stadium, Dodgers, Yankees, but there was 4 of us at simultaneously, so we didn't throw off the mound because there was 4 of us.
Okay.
I went and I met a buddy to throw yesterday, and let me tell you, at 43, 60 feet looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago.
You'll get it there. You
just can't bounce it, right?
Did you see
Stephen A. bounced it? Yeah.
So this is the mistake.
But that's good for him.
It is good for him, but I expect you to whistle a strike right in there.
Now you're putting the pressure on him.
No, I have talked to him. I know he can do it.
We threw out the first pitch, and they told us, you 2 fat guys, stand behind Jay.
Yeah.
Now, he threw a strike because he pitches.
Right.
And so we took the strike.
He's got that muscle memory.
We took the strike for him.
I think the harder I try to throw, it's like golf, right? The harder you swing, that's the bigger margin of error.
You're right.
I might just coast one in there.
So before you go, it's tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. My kids are going to be on the field.
Oh, this is critical.
Terrible.
If you embarrass yourself.
I say yes. I want to back out.
Give him advice.
Usually, it's the nerves that get you.
My hands are already shaking.
But listen, you've got the nerves thing settled. You're an actor, for crying out loud.
And if you tell me what to say, I can say it.
Okay, so
you can't tell me how to throw a strike, and I'm going to do it.
You are auditioning for a role as a pitcher.
That's funny.
Tomorrow.
That's
funny. So put yourself in that mindset, and before you go, this is critical. Talk about the muscle memory.
Yeah.
Before you go, find someone to play catch with.
Of course, that's already been negotiated.
Measure off the 60 feet.
Yes.
And throw 20 times.
I got a big question for you, though.
Yeah.
Because I haven't thrown off a mound since I was 10.
That's okay.
Does the ball drop or does it sail off a mound?
It will fall with you, so the ball will come down as you come down.
Right.
But don't
so I gotta give it a
bounce
little. But I gotta give it a little height.
You know what?
Pitch out.
Here's how you do
out.
it. Aim for the catcher's chest.
I'm gonna aim for his face.
That's fine, because it's all in line. It's all in
that's
line.
what I did.
I can't wait to see this now. I'm gonna put this on Channel 3 tomorrow.
There's a chance I'm gonna cancel and just be.
No.
I'm not gonna cancel. No. But my process is I will pretend I'm canceling up until I'll be in the stadium and be like, I think I can still get out of this. Right? I can still walk out.
What you gonna use?
Tell them that.
My mom's. I gotta fly to New York.
They don't let you warm up before you do that?
No,
not from the mound.
Well, you know what? I threw out the first pitch a couple years ago for the Indians at the time. Mine was high.
But that's safe. That's good. That's good. I'll take high right now. Sight unseen. I'll take a pitch out right now.
As long as the catcher catches it, it doesn't matter.
So let's talk about the worst ones in history.
Curtis just texted
Cincinnati Mayor.
50 Cent.
Gary Delabate from Howard Stern.
Oh, 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
It looked like he threw with the wrong
The
hand.
worst one, though, is where some dude sails it over the catcher's head, and there's a photographer behind the plate, hits him right in the crotch.
The track guy.
Carl Lewis.
You got to take
this. Is great, guys. Thanks for
why are you telling the bad ones?
This is the thing.
For this.
You can take
Curtis Danberg from the Guardians
either
just texted me and said, do not let Jerry back out of
Oh,
it.
no, he's not.
He's doing it.
Curtis,
You are in.
He'll be there, Curtis. Don't worry
This is
about
bad because I forget everyone in Cleveland's going to see this, and they're going to know if
right.
I back out. It was so
Yeah.
it was so
You
preemptive.
either can make this an audition where you say, I'm going to go out there and prove that I could have been a pitcher, or you
Yeah.
can take this and say, I'm about to go viral.
You didn't play in
today.
high school?
I stopped playing baseball when I was about 13, and the real thing I'm scared of is I never really learned how to throw overhand. I threw underhand because I played second base, so I just kind of just
so you
would
dropped side.
You know,
That's
just
okay.
little-
Look,
I never had an arm.
hey, maybe that's your shtick. You wind up and you drop down and sidearm it.
That ain't
However you need to get it there.
3/4.
I just think I might just literally just, take, I'm not going to go full check the runner versus all that
Throw a
garbage.
pick off,
Shake
Jerry.
the signs.
Just,
Shake the
I think I'm just
Well,
going to casually just
So that's
Yeah,
lob
yeah,
it
yeah.
in there,
right?
you
We're
know?
doing that tomorrow. So Thursday we have to
We'll
show
run it on the show
Oh, yeah,
Thursday.
yeah,
We have to
yeah.
show it on.
Why
the-
did I open up my
Nah, you're going to do
big
great.
mouth?
I think he's going to do great.
I got an acting question. Like, sometimes when we do all this stuff, you kind of scope out, who's good or who's not. I like that take. He's kind of good. He has conviction. Who's the biggest actor you were on a set with, and you were just like, man, this dude is great. This dude is awesome.
Well, the thing that stands out right away, and I still don't know how I got cast in this movie. You talk about like things you dream of that come true. I got cast in this movie called Las Vegas, which was like senior citizen hangover. It was De Niro, Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas, Kevin Kline. They go on like a bachelor party in Vegas. And I was like the young, De Niro knocks me out in the movie. Jeez. No actor wants to be knocked out. You want to be knocking people out.
Right.
But if you're going to get knocked out, that's the guy to do it. But it's so funny. Like, we're getting ready to do a take, and he's such a nice man. Like, and we're getting ready to call action. It's like a bit of a stunt. And De Niro's like, wait, hold on, Jerry. Your shoe, tie your shoe. I'm like, De Niro's telling me to tie my shoe so I don't trip.
Yeah, right.
So just seeing those guys after all these years and hearing like Morgan Freeman talk about his grind of like, oh, this casting director when I, never casted me when I was in my 20s. Like, you think Morgan Freeman's been in my life my whole entire life as just
sure.
And to think that he was out there grinding, struggling, going from audition to audition. It's just, it was humbling. And they spelled my name wrong on the chair. That's how I knew this is, every actor gets their chair with their name on it. And I couldn't wait to take this picture with my name next to that chair, and they spelled it Jerry Ferrara. There's like 45 R's in my name. I'm like, we got Google. We got Google. Just it's like 2 seconds.
DTR.
Mike, we got a game we want to play.
We do have a game
right?
we want to play with
Okay.
with Jerry Ferrara. Jerry,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the game maybe once in your life. FMK.
F.
Yeah, this is a cleaner version. This is a
We're
cleaner
not
version.
playing that. We're doing the sports version.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
keep, cut,
Yeah,
trade.
yeah.
Keep, cut,
So
trade.
three
yeah.
options. You got to keep one, you got to trade one, and you're cutting one. It's the equivalent. 3 options. You give us each of these, and we have one tailored to each of your favorite sports here. So we'll start with football.
Okay.
How about the 3 quarterbacks from the illustrious 2004 draft class? Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phil Rivers.
Remember, he is a Giants fan.
I'm starting Eli Manning. I'm cutting Rivers, unfortunately. I'm sorry. What was it? And then I'm benching Roethlisberger.
Keep, cut, trade.
Keep trade.
Keeping
You're cutting
Eli.
Ben.
Keeping Eli. It's keep, cut, trade?
Yeah.
Keeping Eli. Trading Ben. Cutting Rivers.
All right.
Wow. Very definitive answer.
Yeah.
It's the right answer.
I think it's right.
I think it's
too.
the right answer.
It is the right one, especially for that. All right,
Wait,
next
Ben
one.
got 2 rings too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Eli's got 2 MVPs.
We're going baseball next.
Eli's more likable than Ben.
As a Yankee fan, Jerry, keep, cut, trade. Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge, Mariano
That's
Rivera.
impossible.
Oh, this is
How do you answer that
Hey.
question?
This crazy.
That is crazy.
That's hard to
Go ahead.
control.
Oh my God.
No disrespect to Aaron Judge. I'm going to start right there. I'm cutting Aaron Judge. No
Okay.
disrespect, though. It's a terrible question.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
terrible.
This is like.
That's awful.
Which
Bad
one of
job
your,
out of you.
Which one of your kids do you like better?
Yeah,
Is that
right,
up
right.
next? Which my
Deion Sanders ranks him.
Look, this is crazy. I'm going to say I'm going to cut Mariano and keep Jeter. That's crazy, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I hate all of this.
Yeah,
Don't-
it's terrible.
Your answer's right, though. I mean, Mariano's pitching an inning every 3rd game.
Right.
I mean, but he's the best.
But he's the
about
greatest
the-
closer of all time.
By the
Jeter
way,
is Jeter.
By the way, Yankee fans are so crazy about baseball. Like, New York fans are so crazy about baseball, like Browns fans are here about
Yes.
football.
Yeah, absolutely.
That when I was on the Fan from 2007, 2011, I remember there was this week 1 week where Mariano Rivera had a bad week. He blew 2 saves in a week, which never happens, right?
People were
and there were fans calling the show saying, maybe it's time to move on from Mariano. That's how nuts people are.
So you did say you could talk baseball
year-round in New York, yes. Baseball's
That's
huge.
true. And baseball, which I still love, but is one of the sports it's hard to keep up with as much since having 2 young kids. Like I had to sort of give up some things, and it was like UFC late nights and baseball in July, unfortunately, are the 2. I just can't stay awake from some of those main events.
That's right. Baseball got traded. MMA
this man still has spreadsheets. I don't know how the hell you do that.
Well, I'm saying, that's why.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 kid.
Yeah.
It's
I only
the
got
second
1
kid that pushes you over the edge.
That's a fact.
Very true.
That's a fact.
My son does all the stuff with me. He does it all with me. Go ahead, Mike.
Moving on to the Knicks one. There weren't 3 great Knicks that I could think of
in modern years.
Man, you're so passive aggressive.
In the modern era, at least.
You're right.
So I went with small forwards, including Carmelo Anthony. 3 all-time, or very good, maybe not all-time great small forwards, but Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce, Tracy McGrady. You got to keep one. You got to.
I thought you were going to put Patrick Ewing.
I thought Ewing would be
not that he's a small forward, but go ahead.
But this is you're so rude because now you're questioning now it's my fandom versus what my eyes tell me.
I'm actually interested to hear this one.
Yeah,
That's just called good content.
Because one of my favorite players is on there.
I gotta keep Paul Pierce. He's the only one with a ring out of the 3.
Yeah,
it's hard. I don't want to. He's not my favorite of the bunch, so I'm gonna keep Paul Pierce. I'm going to cut Melo. I'm going to trade McGrady.
I respect that.
I didn't want to do it.
Tracy McGrady was my favorite as a kid.
Your sports fandom has been validated. That is a very...
I respect that.
That was hard. That was
hard. The New York Post headline is going to be Ferrara
cuts Melo. Wishes they had Paul Pierce.
Or trades Rivera.
That's right.
That's crazy.
He put you in a real bad situation.
That's right.
Don't worry. The seat's safe. I ain't coming back. The seat's safe.
We got 2 more.
2 more.
Wait, I want to. Oh, okay, go ahead.
This one is based not on their acting prowess, but their athletic prowess. So these are guys that you've worked with throughout your career, based on their athletic prowess only.
Okay.
How about Wahlberg?
Okay.
Kevin Hart and Sakura, based on their athletic prowess only.
See, this is tough because Shakura, who played Tommy, was a good boxer coming up as a kid. He boxed a lot of those years in Chicago. Look, all right. Oh, man.
Kevin Hart was
Kevin's a really good athlete, but he's been getting hurt a lot. I've noticed.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries.
He's got to stop sprinting.
He was in a wheelchair the last time we
seen him.
I'm going
to go keep Wahlberg because I've played hoops with him, and I've seen him dunk. Like, he's got freak athleticism.
He can dunk.
At one point in his life.
That's crazy.
At one point
Billy Hoyle.
I'm gonna keep Wahlberg. I'm gonna cut Joe, and I'm gonna trade Kevin Hart. Again, don't feel great about any of this. And Joe boxed as a kid a lot. He's a good athlete.
You put him in a tough spot.
Sorry, Tommy, we got you up out of here.
And he killed my character, so I had to take it.
It's because he killed.
At least I got to hit him back.
Don't we have a pizza one?
And this is the last one. It's a pizza one. So, Jerry, we know your favorite pizza place is L&B Spumoni Gardens.
By the way, when's the last time you were at Spumoni Gardens?
Probably 5 years ago.
I went a year ago.
You still holds up?
I didn't think it was quite as good as it was when I was a kid. It's still good. Spumoni Gardens is an odd pizzeria for Brooklyn because it's upside down pizza.
Yes.
They're famous for their Sicilian pizza.
Yeah, you don't get slices there. It's like hardly.
It's a square pie. It's thicker than a traditional New York, but not a thick crust.
That's
but
lasagna
thicker.
then, right?
And the sauce is on top. It's a very famous.
No meat. There's no meat.
Everybody from any part of like South Brooklyn, where he grew up, where I grew up, went to Spumoni.
It's a very famous spot.
But all right, go ahead, Mike. Give him the 3 choices.
So outside of Spumoni Gardens,
okay,
me and Bull put together a list of 3 of what we think could be the best pizzerias in New York City. So
in Brooklyn, one's
one's not in Brooklyn. Totino's, DeFara's, and Joe's on Beakers. Excuse me.
Bleecker.
What was the first one?
Totino's in Coney Island.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, Totino's, Joe's, and sorry, my eyesight's
bad.
DeFara's.
I'm gonna keep Joe's. I'm gonna cut DeFara's, and I'm gonna trade. I've never been to.
You haven't been to Totino's?
No.
So that's a trade.
That's a
DeFara's is the guy who owned it was there. It was his old guy.
Yes.
That's
but
where
he died, and
over the summer.
I went this summer, and it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Y'all New York people just make us Midwest kids feel just less cultured.
It's better.
Like,
they really do.
Y'all get on the train when y'all like 5 years old.
That's true.
To every borough. I'm like, I just was out to ride my bike in the street at 14, and I was this size.
Jerry, can you put ranch on pizza?
Huh?
Tell these guys.
ranch.
See, people put ranch on pizza here.
You could
Pizza rolls, right?
You could put a French fry in pizza, but a French fry and ranch. Ranch on
Yeah,
pizza.
Bull wants to dismantle people when he sees them dipping their pizza
You gotta
in
remember
ranch.
too, I suffered in LA pizza now is good, but early on when I was a kid, like it was the pineapple on pizza. I feel it was created in LA. And
I'm not doing that.
I'll never get on board with that.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people can't do that. Can't do that.
Ranch,
Especially New Yorkers.
ranch is obscene.
Pizza to New Yorkers, it really is religion.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys take that seriously.
Yeah.
More so than any food and any area that I've ever seen. It's just you guys own the pizza thing.
It's the greatest day of my life as a kid, and this is relevant to sports. I was 9 years old. I just started really understanding football. Giants beat the Niners in the game. They knocked out Lawrence Taylor to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
My uncle took me to Spumoni Gardens. We had some pizza, and then I saw Home Alone in theaters. That's how long ago that was. That's the greatest day any 9-year-old kid could ever
I don't know how you top that.
Our executive director, Steve, he has a question. He says, you work with Tom Brady on Entourage. Do you have a good Brady story?
The only story I have to tell is that was not supposed to be Brady. Remember, now at this point we got the list. People are calling us, and Eli Manning and Peyton Manning called to be on the show.
Oh, wow.
And Doug Ellen wrote that episode. It was brothers versus brothers. It was Vincent Chase and Johnny Drama versus Eli and Peyton. And then like 2-3 weeks before, much like I'm going to do the Guardians tomorrow, they backed out. See, if they could do it, I could do it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was scheduling, whatever. But for us, we're like in production. Location is scouted. We're loading in. So this is where having Wahlberg as your executive producer came in handy, because he comes into the office and is like, you want me to call Tom? And we're like, Tom and Jerry? Who are you talking about? He's like, Brady. It's like, yeah, Mark, why don't you go give Brady a call? And he comes back and he's like, he's in. When you need him here by. And this was the year Brady was coming off the injury. He missed the whole season before.
Right.
So no one had seen Brady at this point in like 13 months.
Jeez.
And he rolled up and crushed the drive on the first tee. Couldn't have been nicer. Signed everything for the crew. And I know he doesn't need more praise, but I got nothing but love for him for that.
Yes, he's perfect. He's a robot.
Jerry, we appreciate you coming in,
This
man.
is great.
It was awesome.
I'm never
It was
coming
so
back, but this is
awesome,
great.
man.
Catch him at the Guardians game tomorrow. Get out to Progressive Field and support this guy.
He's going to throw a perfect pitch.
He's going to go viral, but for the right reason.
My shoulder
He's
hurts.
going to hum a strike right in there. Jerry, thanks, man.
Great time.
See you on overtime.
Make a seizure.
Make a seizure.